Because we got to wait till the brothers get in.
We're live. We're live.
Live? Alrighty, all right. Shalom Israel, welcome back to Wednesday night class. Good to see everybody in class and in person. Shout out to you also that came online and watches online. Good to see you as well. Shout out, hope everybody's doing well across the Israelite world. Mighty shout out to Kawakab down in Guatemala. Shout out to our brothers and sisters, Stream of Wisdom, in Norfolk, Virginia, Rochester, New York, and also Houston, Texas. Hope everybody's doing well. I know we got some major cold fronts coming in from the East Coast, expecting major snow, blizzards. So, we pray that everybody stays safe and sound and mind, body, and spirit. And we're just going to go ahead and finish a particular topic that we had last Wednesday. And the topic last Wednesday was about who's holding your hands. And it was about having appropriate leadership and having individuals that have your best interests in mind, whom you counsel with, and versus just telling you what you want to hear. Does anybody remember some of the points of interest from that last week's class? Go ahead, you got it.
So one of the points was, there was one point about repentance, I like that. But one of the points you were talking about is who we're guided by and what we're entrusting, who we're following. We're talking about who's holding your hand. So are we being guided by the Most High in Christ and Scriptures? Or are we being guided by our own will, our own emotions, and those things?
Okay.
I like that a lot.
All right.
You also mentioned understanding what our counselors are in need of when they are giving you advice. Like, meaning, what's their angle? Or what are they looking to benefit off of something that they could offer you so that they could just get a benefit for themselves? Or are they actually looking just for your development, and the benefit of your development, is that enough for them, or are they trying to get something on the back end?
Right. Absolutely. And that was an initial point that we brought out in the class, was about having trustworthy individuals that the Most High provides us, that are looking out for our best interests at heart and knowing what we need and knowing our story, knowing our history. And then also we brought out about the Most High associating signs alongside of prophecies.
God.
And why was that necessary? Anybody remember?
Yes, to prove that he's real, to validate that he's real. Because remember, there was a point you said, why would the Most High tell you he's going to do something, and then right after give a sign? It was to validate and verify that he's real, and he's going to do what he said that he was going to do.
Yep, that was one aspect. Another aspect was for what?
Like validation.
Validation.
Our people need a sign.
Yeah.
And, right. Our people need it's another aspect of just knowing that the Most High was the author of it.
Right. It's confirmation.
That's it. Confirmation. Yeah.
It's confirmation that validation, confirmation that the Most High is exact in what He says He's going to do and what He's going to perform. We will need the Josephus, so if we can get that out, we're going to need that. So those are all great points. And another point that we brought out, I know we didn't mention it. What you need? And was Acts chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. Let's read that real quick. Because this was another aspect about making sure that you got the right counselors and the right individuals saying the right things. Because if not, something can happen. And let's read that real quick. Acts chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. And then we're going to go to Josephus. Book 8, chapter 9, paragraph 1, line 237.
Acts chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. And it came to pass in Iconium that they went both together into the synagogue of the Jews, and so spake that a great multitude, both of Jews and also of the Greeks, believed. Right,
so as Peter was speaking, as Paul was speaking, in Iconium, he said there was a great multitude that started believing what he was preaching. Read on.
Verse 2. But the unbelieving Jews.
It said, but one thing that you can't get away from, even though you may have some believing, there will always be what?
Unbelieving Jews.
And you also have some that don't believe. And you got to make sure that you're not adhering to the counsels of the counsels of the unbelieving, but focusing on the believing, because that's something you cannot get away from. That people are not going to believe the same way, at the same rate, at the same level, or the same thing. So some people will believe, some won't.
As a new student, how would I be able to discern or tell who's the unbeliever and who's not the unbeliever? Because a lot of us come in here and everyone sounds like they're speaking wisdom. They pull a verse, they give some good counsel, or they give their personal life testimony. It can deceive, I don't want to say simple, but the unlearned or the new person, right? So how would I be able to, as I'm coming in here and I'm trying to find inspiration, I'm trying to find light, how I discern what's light and what's darkness?
Yeah. Now here's a great point. I like what you said. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and read verse 9. Because what you're asking is a great question. If you're brand new and you don't know who's who, and everybody's got on garments, everybody got on fringes, you may not distinguish who's guiding you for the right purpose, or who's believing that's giving you advice, or who may be unbelieving that's giving you advice.
Yeah.
Read that right there, Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and read verse 9.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 8 and verse 9. Miss not the discourse of the elders.
That's why you got to make sure you don't miss the discourse of who?
Of the elders.
What are they going to do? Read on.
For they also learned of their fathers.
Go ahead.
And of them thou shalt learn understanding.
So who is going to distinguish? Who's going to help you distinguish who's a believer and who's not a believer?
The elders.
The elders. Exactly. So this is who you go to. If you're brand new in this truth and you don't know who to trust or who to listen to, who to follow, because they're not wearing a sticker on their shirt that says unbeliever.
Exactly.
And they're not wearing a sticker on their shirt that says believer. You don't know. So this is when you got to go to who? The elders. For they shall learn what?
For they also learn of their fathers.
Go ahead.
And of them thou shalt learn understanding.
And you're going to get understanding of who's who, what's what, who to trust, who to follow, who to listen to. It'll give you understanding. You're supposed to go to your elders. And that will help you distinguish the things that are hard to determine. Read on.
And to give answer as need requireth.
And they'll let you know on certain insight as you have need. They'll release certain information and dispense certain information as you have need. You may not need to know everything at the time. There's certain things that elders may not say simply because you're too fragile to understand. But an elder would have you look at the good of everybody. All right? But just to answer that question about how do you know who's a believer, who's not, who to trust, who to go to when you're brand new? Go to the elders. All right? Let's go back and read and finish that in Acts chapter 14. Read verse 2 one more time. Shalom, everybody online. Good to see everybody online as well.
Acts chapter 14, verse 2. It says, but the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles.
Go ahead.
And made their minds evil affected.
So one thing you can't get away from is Jews that are unbelieving, that are trying to make you look at the body or the brothers or the camp or the truth in an ill-affected manner. That's what we talked about last week. We're not going to harp on it. We're just kind of bringing certain things up, points of emphasis that we brought out last week. We're not going to make this part of the class. We got to move on. But just as a reminder of, since this is part 2 of what we were dealing with last week in part 1. So you can't listen to somebody that's causing you to make you look ill-affected towards the body or towards the camp or towards your fellow brethren or fellow sisters. Because all that does is bring about division. Read on.
It says, made their minds evil affected against the brethren. Verse 3.
Yeah, that's it. That's good enough. So what we looked at was we kind of coupled this with the story of Jeroboam the first. And Jeroboam the first was sent a prophet to him to remind him that the Most High was against his worshiping and lighting incense and building altars to other gods. And then also he told him that this same altar, priest bones are going to be burned on this altar. And as a sign so that you can believe it. As a signet. Yes, sir.
And that was about that older man that was a prophet that was teaching Jeroboam, right?
Kind of.
And he was like a we found out he was a hypocritical prophet.
He was a wicked prophet. Right.
Yeah.
But
he was motivated by negativity.
Right. And we'll get to that too.
Okay.
But the sign that the prophet Jadon gave to Jeroboam was the fact that this altar is going to break and the ashes are going to spill out. He said, and that's going to be the sign. That's going to be confirmation that the Most High is going to do what he said he's going to do. All right. So let's pick up in the Josephus. If you don't have one, grab one. Let's pick up in the Josephus in Book 8, Chapter 9, Paragraph 1. And we're going to start at line 257. I'm sorry. 237. Anybody need another Josephus? Okay. Pass it out, brother. All right. All right, shalom everybody online. Good to see everybody. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is part 2 from the last week's Wednesday class, Who's Holding Your Hands? And this is about orchestrating the Most High orchestrating the right individuals around you to give you the right advice, the right counsel, the right insight on what you need to be doing. All right. So let's go. Who got that? Kariah?
Khan.
Let's get that.
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 8, Chapter 9, Paragraph 1, line 237.
Read that.
And how, when Jeroboam's right hand had been enfeebled at the prophet's prayer, he had revived again, whereupon he was afraid that this stranger and prophet should be in better esteem with the king than himself.
So now we understand that this wicked prophet was worried that he was going to be replaced by Jadon, and he was afraid of being removed and replaced and favored as his favorite go-to person. So what did he do? Read.
And obtain greater honor from him.
So it's showing you that this is what he's vying for: respect. He's vying for power. He's vying for favoritism. He wants to be favored. He wants to be the most liked. So his intentions aren't pure. The intentions behind what he's doing isn't pure. Read on.
And he gave order to his sons to saddle his ass presently and make all ready that he might go out. Accordingly, they made haste to do what they were commanded. And he got upon the ass and followed after the prophet. And when he had overtaken him, as he was resting himself under a very large oak tree that was thick and shady, he at first saluted him.
He said, "Now check out the approach of this false prophet. What's the first thing he did?
Saluted him.
So he greeted him. He gave him a greet. He saluted him. You know, and that's when somebody greets you, it's a sign of respect. I got respect for you. I salute you. It's a form of respect. Read on.
But presently, he complained of him.
He said, but right after the salute, he had a what?
Complaints.
He had a complaint. What was the complaint?
Because he had not come into his house and partaken of his hospitality.
Because you didn't let me treat you. Now, here is this wicked prophet complaining that you didn't let me treat you, but was that his intention?
No.
No. He wasn't trying to. It was a trick that he had behind his back. He was not trying to treat him. It wasn't nothing hospitable about his intention. But we wouldn't have known that until it played out and able to see what happens. So we're just picking up where we stopped last week to kind of rehash over, getting into what happens when the Most High is putting somebody that has your best interest at heart, that's telling you the truth, versus having a yes man there. Read on.
Line 239. And when the other had said that the Most High had forbidden him to taste of anyone's provision in that city.
He says, now the prophet Jadon did tell the man, the Most High forbid me to do what?
taste of anyone's provision in that city.
Go ahead.
He replied that for certain,
He said, for what?
for certain,
Man, it's guaranteed that what?
the Most High had not forbidden.
He said, it's guaranteed that the Most High had not what?
Forbidden
Go ahead.
that I should set food before thee.
He said, that's not true. There's no way that the Most High would forbid me to set food in front of you. Why? Read on.
For I am a prophet as thou art.
He says, because I am what?
I am a prophet
Like what?
as thou art.
So, look if we look at the tactic that this prophet is using, this false prophet is using, he's saluting them, he's asking them to entreat them with hospitality, and he's also saying what?
I am a prophet.
We're one and the same. You see the mentality behind somebody that's coming with a devious plot. They greet you, salute you. They ask to entreat or do you a favor or to show you hospitality. And then they say, I'm just like you. Trying to find a common ground. These are all the methodologies and the tactics and the strategies that this wicked prophet is using. I'm just like you. I'm one and the same. Read on.
For I am a prophet as thou art, and worship the Most High.
They said, and I serve who?
The Most High.
And so with all those things compounded, it's starting to take toll on Jadon the prophet's mind that maybe this is a good guy. Maybe this is somebody I can trust. Read on.
For I am a prophet as thou art, and worship the Most High in the same manner.
He said, in the same manner. Read.
That thou dost.
We one and the same. Go ahead.
And I am now come as sent by him in order to bring thee into my house.
He said, I'm sent by the Most High to bring you into my house. Read on.
And make thee my guest.
So that's very convincing, very persuasive, very persuasive. Told him everything he wanted to hear. Read on.
Line 240. Now Jadon gave credit to this lying prophet.
He said, but Jadon did what?
He gave credit to this lying prophet.
Now, when we look at Ecclesiastes chapter 37, verse 10, brother, read that real quick. Next brother, read that. Yes. Ecclesiastes chapter 37, verse 10.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 and verse 10 reads, consult not with one that suspecteth thee,
Right.
and hide thy counsel.
It said, and do what?
And hide thy counsel.
See, but when you're young, you may not know who to trust. That's why you got to go to the elders. You just can't speak your counsels just to anybody. You can't be relaying things that require an elder's supervision just to anybody because you don't know what everybody's intentions are. You don't know what their intent is. He said, if Jadon gave this guy credit and he never looked at what? He never did what? Read on.
And hide thy counsel from such as envy thee.
He never had a thought in his mind that this guy's envying me. Why? There was no red flag that he couldn't trust him. There was no red flag. There was no red flag whatsoever that this guy couldn't be trusted.
All it took was some unproven words. I'm a prophet, and I serve God like you.
I serve God like you. I'm a prophet. I'm sent by the Most High. There's no way for certain, it's guaranteed that the Most High not forbidding you for me to entreat you in my house. There's no way, because we're one and the same. But there's no evidence behind that. But there's no way he could have known that. There's no way Jadon could have known that this guy was slimy. None. No way whatsoever. He said, but he credited him. He gave him credit. But the scriptures say you're supposed to hide your counsel from one that what?
It says, and hide thy counsel from such as envy thee.
But how do you know somebody envy you? You don't. You don't. You don't know. In that case, he didn't know. Read on.
Neither consult with a woman, touching her of whom she is jealous.
Read on.
Neither with a coward in matters of war,
Go ahead.
nor with a merchant concerning exchange.
So he's telling you how the sensitivity of counseling. Counseling, divulging information is sensitive. Read on.
Nor with a buyer of selling,
Go ahead.
nor with an envious man of thankfulness,
Go ahead.
nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness,
Go ahead.
nor with the slothful for any work,
Read.
nor with an hireling for a year of finishing work, nor with an idle servant of much business. Hearken not unto these in any manner of counsel,
Go ahead.
but be continually.
So he says, so that you, because you may not know the background, you may not know the intention, you may not know the purpose of why somebody is providing you counsel, and it may be in the dark and not so apparent on what their purpose is. He says the best thing that you can do is to be continually with who?
But be continually with a godly man.
He says you almost gotta look at him and say, let me check just your history. Let me check this person's history.
Yeah.
Let me check this person's consistency. He said, but be continually with who?
With a godly man,
Read.
whom thou
It
knowest,
says, whom thou what?
knowest,
To do what?
to keep the commandments of the Lord.
So now the only thing that you got is what?
Whom thou knowest.
I know that, but what do you have to go off of?
Merit.
Rapport.
Rapport,
Merit.
merit,
Yeah.
this person's consistency,
Continuation.
this person's steadiness, and the fact that they're unwavering in what they do. Their work. That's all you can go off of, because you may not know the other things, the other signs, whether it be envy or jealousy or whatever. It may not be discovered. So you got to go off at least some type of track record.
Yep.
Let me look at your track record, and then let me use that to identify, to see if this person is worthy to adhere to counsel. Because if this person doesn't have the track record, if I don't know this person long enough, then I shouldn't be so quick to just divulge. Yes, sir.
But what sometimes our people want to do is be poetic. Like, it's not about what I've done. It's about the feeling, and it's about, brother, I just want to help there. I want to be there. I just want to do this for you. Don't worry about what I have done. What about what I will do?
Yeah. Or it could be the old, don't be like me, be better than me.
Yep.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And people gotta be vetted by someone other than yourself.
Yep.
Other trusted individuals who have rapport and respect and have patterns of consistency and good works.
That's all you can go off of. Because everything else is like, man, you wouldn't know.
It's essential.
It could be feelings. It could be, because, if you look at the prophet, man, he made that sound sweet.
Right.
I'm one and the same. I'm just like you. The Most High, I'm a prophet also.
Right.
I serve God in the same manner. Man, it sounds like guaranteed, man, I could trust this individual.
Yeah.
So he says you got to be continually with who?
But be continually with a godly man,
Go ahead.
whom thou knowest, to keep the commandments of the Lord,
Go ahead.
whose mind is according to thy mind.
That's what makes the mind similar, is the fact that they have the same intensity behind serving the Lord.
Okay.
They got the same level of intensity. And they have the same level of zeal to serve the Father. Read on.
Come, and will sorrow with thee,
And then when something go wrong, they'll sorrow with you. Go ahead.
if thou shalt miscarry.
And if anything happens, they're there to support you. But not everybody may be there to support you. So he's showing you how, unfortunately, this prophet is a prophet of the Most High, Jadon. But he was lacking the inability to discover the intentions behind this other prophet. And he did no evaluation. He said he credited him. Go read that again at Apocrypha. Josephus.
Right. Now 240. It says, now Jadon gave credit to this lying prophet.
He said he did what?
He gave credit to this lying prophet.
He said he gave credit to this lying prophet. 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 18. 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 18. Hold on. Before you go there, read verse 15.
First Kings 15 and 8,
13 and 15.
chapter 13, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
First Kings chapter 13, verse 15. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Then he said unto me, come home with me, and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go with thee. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place.
He said, I'm not going to do it. Read.
For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, thou shalt eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again.
So did he not know the Most High's commandments? Did he not know the order of the Most High? He still he knew he repeated it, so he knew the Most High's instructions. Read.
It says, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. He said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art.
He said, I am a what?
I am a prophet also as thou art.
I'm a brother too. Am I not a brother?
Yep.
So can some people use the brother card to give you counsel?
Oh yeah.
And they pull the brother card. I'm a brother too. I'm a brother just like you. We brothers.
Yeah.
But is that valid enough?
Nope.
Is that sufficient enough? Some people say, man, we're brothers. That should be enough for me to give you counsel. I should be able to provide counsel to you. Because we're brothers. Some people will use affinity for the purpose of deceit. They'll use the fact that we use these words, this brotherhood, we brothers.
Yeah.
And we brothers, because we brothers,
Yep.
you can trust me.
Exactly.
Because we brothers. That's what he's using. He said, man, I'm a prophet like you. Now he's pulling the prophet card. You a prophet, I'm a prophet. We're prophets. We're all prophets. There's no reason why you shouldn't not trust what I'm saying. People use terminology. They use affinity to get in close. Words of endearment. We brothers. We prophets. But I can't see intentions. So, what could possibly, Dawiyah brought this up last week. He said it, but he didn't read it. Go to Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15. Dawiyah brought it up last week. But he said it, but he just didn't quote it. But we're going to quote it because he was on point when he said it.
You said Proverbs 14 and 15?
Come on.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15.
Go ahead.
It says, the simple believeth every word.
It said the simple do what?
The simple believeth every word.
So just like Dawiyah brought out, the simple believeth every word. He didn't do any evaluation. He didn't do any vetting. He didn't do no counseling. He didn't ask questions. He just gave him credit off of just words. I'm a prophet. I serve the Lord. You know, there's no reason why you shouldn't trust me. He said the simple believeth every word. Read on.
But the prudent man looketh well to his going.
It said, but the prudent man is looking deeper than just the surface.
Yeah.
It's not just surface. I'm not looking at the surface that we're just brothers. That don't mean much.
We both read the Bible.
You could be inconsistent as a brother.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that could be wrong. It could be ulterior motives. But what we're reading is, what caused this prophet to be so easily deceived just after repeating the Most High's instruction? What is it? What makes us deviate so easily, knowing that we know the instructions of what's appropriate? What makes us deviate so quick? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, Verse 12.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, and verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things.
It says the bewitching of what?
Naughtiness.
So he says the trickery of naughtiness obscures what?
Obscures things
Go ahead.
that are honest.
That are honest. People get tricked that are honest. Now we know from who got 1 Kings chapter 13? Read verse 8 for me.
1 Kings 13 and 8. And the man of the Lord said unto the king, if thou wilt give me half thine house.
Now did not the prophet tell the king Jeroboam, man, even if you offer me half your house, your kingdom. Read on.
I will not go in with thee.
He said, I'm not going to your house.
Yep.
He just shot down a half a kingdom offer. So did he not know right from wrong?
Yes.
Did he not understand what the instructions of the Most High was? Then so how was this fake prophet come along and easily deceive him? He said by the bewitching of what?
Naughtiness
Go ahead.
doth obscure things that are honest.
Go ahead.
And the wandering of concupiscence.
I said, hold on. How can you know right from wrong and still give in to deceit?
The wandering of concupiscence.
So, wait, I'm going to say it again. I want people to understand. How can you know right from wrong and you still get deceived?
The wandering of concupiscence.
What does that mean?
To covet.
To what?
To covet.
Because even though you may know right from wrong, what could still be present inside of you?
Covetousness.
Covetousness could still be present even though you know right instruction. Just because somebody told you what to do and what not to do and you know right from wrong, that doesn't mean you've eliminated your covetousness. There's still something present in you. There's still something in you that is causing you to offset proper instruction and to deny what you know is right. He said by the bewitching of what?
Naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest.
Go ahead.
And the wandering of concupiscence.
And when somebody hasn't taken the time to eliminate their what?
Covetousness.
Which means what? Or concupiscence, which means covetousness, or what else?
Lust.
Oh, man. You mean to tell me that we can get instructions and know right from wrong, but still get caught up and get deceived because there's still something in us that we didn't fix?
Right.
Just because Jadon is a prophet, does that guarantee that he eliminated his what?
Lust.
His lust. You can know right from wrong. But if you don't attack that lust that's in you, if you don't attack that covetousness that's in you, which is basically, read on in definition,
The coveting of carnal things.
there's still some bait that somebody could use to deceive you because it's some things that you want.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get you. That's why the scripture said, don't blame the Most High in James when a man is deceived, right?
Yeah.
James 1 and 12, right?
Yeah.
He said when a man is enticed, he's enticed by what?
His own lust.
It's his own lust. There was somebody could pick apart what you haven't eliminated to use as bait to deceive you. They can use your own urges that you never repaired to get you out of character and to get you to deviate from proper instruction. What you got?
Or an irregular appetite.
It said, or you may have a what?
Irregular appetite.
So if you don't check your appetites, that your appetites could be irregular. They're not normal. You may want something that doesn't belong or pertain to you. You may have a itch or a fever to obtain something, You may have a desire, or you may have a desire based upon what somebody else has possessed, which is to covet after. What else?
Irregular appetite for worldly good.
Or you, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's why he said, man, if you gave me half your kingdom, I wouldn't take it. He shot that down. But does that mean everything in him was removed?
No.
Does that mean everything in him? So was he fail-proof in being deceived? From being deceived? No, he's not. Are we fail-proof from being deceived? Especially when we got what in us?
Lust.
Man, if you don't fix your lust, you are prime bait for deception. Somebody else's deception. You are a prime candidate to get caught up in a trick bag. Because you didn't fix your lust. All those are avenues that Satan can manipulate to get to you. To get you to break your obedience to the Most High. He'll use what's in you. That's why people got the truth. There's a lot of people got the truth. But a lot of people ain't fixed themselves either.
Yeah.
A lot of people got urges. They got itches. They got wants. They got motivations. That's under the surface. So you don't even realize that if you don't go at the things that's in you that can be used as somebody else's bait to deceive you, you are a prime target to get bamboozled. What else you got?
There's one more.
What you got?
It says inclination for unlawful enjoyments.
Oh man, you got an inclination for what?
Unlawful enjoyments.
So, or you have an illicit desire for something that's unlawful. You want what you're not supposed to touch. So, if you have this inside of you that's unrepaired, you yourself are a prime candidate for deceit. You're bait to somebody's trap. That's how people get bewitched. Because you ask yourself, how did this prophet shoot down half the kingdom and then fall victim by giving a man that he just met on the road credit off of some words, some smooth words? Something's got to be in him to make him deviate. Something's got to be in him to make him not stick to the Most High's commandment. We all have that vulnerability if we're not conscious about what lies in us that we want. And what we want so bad. Even if it's unlawful. Or if it's irregular. Then you're a trick waiting to happen. You're a sucker. Waiting to be played. This is how Satan gets to all of us. Even when you have right instructions. Even when you know right from wrong. You can still be susceptible. This could happen to anybody. Especially somebody that's not on top of their own lust. Especially them. We understand that? What you got, Karai?
I was going to say, too, in the Blue Letter Bible, simple also means open-minded. So this is somebody that's available to new ideas, new arguments, new opinions,
New perspectives.
new what's it called? New points. So this is somebody that's not even settled or firm into facts. They're just they're in a gray mind. You know what I'm saying? They're in the middle.
But look how easy it was for a man who knew the word and knew the order of the Most High to be deceived. Imagine us if we don't even know the word of the Most High as well as we should. How easy it for us to be deceived, to be tempted by our own lust. That's why we always teach, you got to take this home for yourself. Because you don't even have the word of the Most High. Your ability to sustain and ignore those temptations or fight those temptations is a lot harder to fight.
If you don't see it.
Because you can't see it. You can't see it as a temptation.
You don't have nothing to measure it by.
Exactly.
You don't know if it's feelings. You don't know if it's an impulsiveness that you possess. Or you don't even know if this is something you fabricated and told yourself you deserve.
Yeah.
Because we do that too. We fabricate ideas that we deserve something. We tell ourselves, man, I've been working hard.
Yeah.
Man, I deserve this.
Come.
I deserve this moment.
Come.
This moment of pleasure. I deserve this. I've been busting my butt, man. I've been working hard. I've been on point. If you're from Louisiana, on perk. You've been on perk.
Oh yeah.
But
Because maybe that's what the prophet thought. He said, you know what? It's been a long trip. I followed orders with the king. Maybe the Most High changed his heart, and now he's giving me a break.
I turned down the big deception.
Because he knows I need it. He doesn't need this break.
But the small liberty, I still took the small liberty.
Exactly.
He turned down the bigger liberty. He said, man, you can't give me half your kingdom. I'm going to take it.
A strength.
We're taking the time to meditate on this idea because you have to meditate on this idea all the time. You have to have these thoughts available in your mind all the time. What's driving you to deviate from the Most High's instructions?
Because most of us don't sit on the small stuff, on the big stuff.
No.
We're not sitting on, hey, I got a pork plate for you. Eat this. I made it just for you. We're not making the big, obvious mistakes. We know how to discipline them. But it's the small, subtle ones that we got caught slipping. I didn't think about that. I didn't see how Satan was working on the back end for me.
Man.
So I wasn't constantly aware of Satan is looking for every opportunity to expose your fallibilities, your inward failures, your inward lust.
And you know, there's only one safety valve that all of us can possess to ensure that it doesn't happen. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 17. There's only one safety valve that we all have to possess and must have with us all the time available in order to not give in, whether it's the large deceptions, the more obvious ones, or the subtle ones. Yes, sir.
So does that mean the brother wasn't completely transparent with his elder? Meaning
That-
to find this lust within him?
Well, that could be possible too. He didn't do any soul searching. I got to do some soul searching. I got to dig deep within myself and recognize where I'm weak at. I got to know my weaknesses. You know, when I came into truth, it's places that we didn't go because and I talk about this sometimes. I've said it before in previous classes that being young, we were told to stay away from certain arenas because it was a familiar spirit. If you are a club person, like I was at one time, I was a club hopper. Dad liked to dance and liked to move and groove and shake and bake and have a couple drinks, have a good time. I was one for the nightlife. So when you come in the truth, your brothers tell you, hey, brother, stay out the club, stay out of this environment. But you may be able to be strong enough to operate in that environment where you're so accustomed to it, it doesn't have a pull on you. Mm-hmm. You don't fall victim to it. So one of the greatest mistakes I made early in the truth was it was a brother's birthday. I didn't know nothing. I'm fresh into the camp. The brothers went out of town. The elders went out of town. I had just moved into the brother's house. The elders went out of town. And I said, brother, let's go have a good time for your birthday. Here's a man that was struggling with weight, obesity. Here's a man that was struggling with cigarettes. Here was a man that was struggling with lust, with women. And here I am, naive, stupid, insensitive. Tell the brother, hey man, I got it. Everything's on me. I'm gonna pay for everything. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pay. I got all the drinks. I got all the food. I got the ride. Don't worry about nothing. I'm gonna pay for. I'm gonna pay for everything. It's your birthday. Got to the spot. I'm the hype man. I'm hyping. This is birthday, man. We having a good time.
Yeah.
So I start snatching women and start throwing women and dance with my brother right here, man. To celebrate with him. It's his birthday. So I'm pulling women and dance with him. Not sensitive on the effect. I may be in that environment and not be moved by it because I'm accustomed to it. It's no big deal. I can go in and come out, no big deal. It wasn't that simple for that brother. That brother from that night got weak, went and smoked some cigarettes, went and had some drinks, and then broke his 3-month diet that he was on, where he lost 100 pounds in 3 months. That he became unraveled that night. All discipline went out the window. Whose blood whose hands was full of blood for that situation? His?
No.
Or whose?
Yours.
Mine. You know why? Because I wasn't sensitive to him. I only thought about myself. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this environment. I could handle it, but he couldn't handle it. That brother broke a 3-month fast. He lost 100 pounds. Went from a 6X shirt to a 3X shirt. Went from a 60-inch waist, which is 5 feet around. He had a 60-inch belt.
Wow.
Went down to a 48-inch belt. 6X shirt to a 3X shirt. Had not been that size since middle school. And here it is, in my raw, infectious idea, all the discipline that all the elders instilled into that brother, I unraveled and unloosened that discipline in one night. Threw all that progress in the trash. Not realizing, not conscious about other people. That's why we get told, hey, listen, brother, when you're in this truth, it's not just about you. It's not about what you can do and the liberty that you possess.
Yeah.
That liberty could be that man's stumbling block.
Easily.
There's many times after that lesson, never again. I said never again. Never again. Not on my dime, not on my watch. Never again. Never going to defile a brother. And who I'm thinking a carnal good time. I'm thinking a good time is still carnal. I'm associating a good time with carnality. And all I did was corrupt the man. You know what a good time is? Keep fighting, brother. Let's go to the library. Let's go to the gym. Let's do what you're already doing that's working. All that for nothing. All that discipline down the drain. One of the worst memories I possess. Because out of stupidity, not being sensitive, not understanding what other people's weaknesses are, defiling people. I don't come in the truth to defile people. I come in the truth to heal myself and those that I come in contact with. I'm not here to defile. I did enough of that in the world. But because I didn't have a grip on myself, and he didn't have a grip on himself, the whole thing was a disaster. When the brothers came back in town, I got blazed up, rightfully so. And I got hit up left and right. I deserved it. Rightfully so. Because I wasn't sensitive. This is why you have to have a grip on your weaknesses and the weaknesses of others so that you don't deceive them with your liberties. Now we hear Ecclesiastes 6 and 17.
Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 17. Whoso feareth the Lord.
It said, whoso feareth the what?
Whoso feareth the Lord.
What is the one safety valve that you got to keep with you to make sure that you don't fall into deception?
Whoso feareth the Lord.
What's one thing that you got to maintain to make sure that you don't give in to your lust?
Whoso feareth the Lord.
To make sure you don't give in to your impulses.
Whoso feareth the Lord.
So you don't give in to deception.
Whoso feareth the Lord.
So you don't just believe anything that somebody brings to you and it sounds good.
Whoso feareth the Lord.
Will do what?
Shall direct his friendship aright.
What didn't Jadon the prophet do? He didn't fear the Lord. He feared the Lord initially when he told Jeroboam, even if you give me half the kingdom, I'm not coming to your house. But why give in to this subtlety from this wicked prophet? Nobody around.
Let his guard down.
I let my guard down. It sounds sweet. It sounds convincing.
Sounds spiritual.
Sounds spiritual. So I gave in to it. If you lose your fear of the Lord, you're in trouble. Because you no longer have a safety valve to secure you from being deceived. You no longer have something as a sign to say, man, that's not right. Let me double check what I'm about to do.
Yep.
Man, something's wrong with this. Let me just not follow how I feel. Let me double check real quick, because this could get me in trouble. So who had their hand up?
I did.
What you got?
I was gonna say he believed in the plain way.
Yeah, he believed in a plain way. But he was deceived because there was something in him that allowed himself to be deceived. That's why our main protection is maintaining the fear of the Lord. And if you maintain the fear of the Lord, you'll socialize with the right individuals that will do what? Read.
Whoso, Ecclesiastes 6:17. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendships aright.
Go ahead.
As he is, so shall his neighbor also be also.
So I'll align myself with those that are like-minded just like me. I'll keep disciplined people around me. I'll keep people around me that deny their flesh like I deny my flesh. I won't put people around me that are contrary to the orders or instructions of the Most High. I'll make sure I'm not socializing with those individuals. But it's all based upon how I sustain my fear of the Lord. We understand? Back to 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 18. And this is how you can protect yourself from a master manipulator. Or manipulators, period.
1 Kings chapter 13 and verse 18 reads, He said unto him, I am a prophet also.
He said what?
I am a prophet also.
He said, I'm a prophet too. Like we just read in Josephus. Read on.
As thou art.
Just like you. Read.
And an angel spake unto me.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, angels.
Oh,
Angels.
man.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
He had some sauce on top of that.
That sounds good.
It
It
said
sounds
that,
spiritual.
that the Most High, in the Josephus, sent him to the prophet.
But what the scripture say?
It says, and an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord.
He said, man, didn't you know that an angel talked to me?
He said, Gabriel.
Gave me a message.
He said an angel came down and visited me and told me to come find you and bring you to my house. Look at what he's adding on to the message to validate and confirm the trick. But what did Paul say? Go to Galatians chapter 1 verse 6.
I'm gonna change the chair.
You want to switch, bro? Yeah, switch the chair, bro. Chair. Yeah, switch it out.
I'll give you this other now.
Galatians chapter 1, verse 6.
It said Galatians chapter 1 verse 6. Read that. Yeah.
Galatians chapter 1, verse 6. I marvel.
He said, that's why Paul said what?
I marvel
He said, man, I'm shocked. At what?
that ye are so soon removed.
He
from-
said, how did you let somebody remove you from discipline? He said, I'm shocked at your inability to stay consistent and to be deceived. He said, I'm shocked because what?
He said, I marvel that ye are so soon removed
Go ahead.
from him that called you into the grace of Yahweh Shai.
He said, how did you throw away your discipline so easy? How did you give in to weakness so easily, so quick? How did you get knocked off your rocker or knocked off the path to righteousness? How did you do it? How did you let somebody come in so easily and deceive you? Read on.
Unto another gospel,
Read.
which is not another.
He said there is no other gospel. That's why it's amazing to see people leave the truth and become Muslims. It's amazing to see people leave the truth and become Moors or become Masons. He said there is no other gospel. Read on.
Verse 8. I'm sorry, he says, which is not another. Verse 7. But there be some that trouble you
Go ahead.
and would pervert the gospel.
He said, but some people are there to what?
Pervert the gospel
How would some people pervert the gospel? Read on.
of Yahweh Shai. But though we or an angel
Paul said it don't matter if it's us or if it is a what?
or an angel from heaven.
It said it don't matter if it's me. Paul said, man, if I'm perverting you from the gospel of Christ, or an angel came down from heaven and told you to follow a different doctrine. Read.
He said, an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
So, should this prophet Jadon, even though the wicked prophet said an angel came down and told me to talk to you, should he follow that? No. He shouldn't. But if you don't watch out, and if you don't sustain the fear of the Lord, you can be deceived and manipulated by anybody. Because you've already opened the door for deception. Why is that? Go to Titus chapter 3 verse 1.
Titus chapter 3, verse 1. Put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers.
He says put them in mind to what?
To be subject to principalities and powers.
Go ahead.
To obey magistrates.
What else?
To be ready to every good work.
What is he saying right here? There's one verse. What is he saying?
Be in order.
Say it again.
Be in order.
Say it again.
Be in order.
He says, what are you supposed to put people in mind to do?
Stay in order.
So how do people keep themselves from being deceived?
Follow the counsel.
They got to stay in order. See, when you have an inclination and you're predisposed to deviate from what you're being told, you're already opening yourself up for deception. Because you're naturally inclined to not follow. Anybody that's naturally inclined to not follow instructions are opening themselves up to be bait for Satan. They can be manipulated easily. Because you don't have the propensity to naturally stay in order anyway. So if you sustain your fear of the Lord and you make it common practice that you follow what you're told, this is how you protect yourself from deception. That's why Paul said, put them in mind that what? Or Titus, this was Paul to Titus. Put them in mind to what?
To be subject to principalities.
Stay in order. We look at following instructions as somebody trying to kill my vibe.
Yeah.
You're no fun. You're killjoy. You're robbing me of what I want to do. You're a hater. You're just trying to get something out of me. You're just trying to control me. Why should I follow you? People have all these negative notions of why they don't have to follow, not realizing that they're Satan's trick. They're about to be Satan's trick. Because they no longer have the protection from the Most High. They're no longer guarded from what the Most High says, the fear of the Lord, which is a protection to them. They don't have it. You're about to be somebody's sucker. Or you're about to be a sucker to your own thoughts. Keep them in order, that they be obedient to what?
Subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready to every good work.
And they got to be ready for what?
Every good work.
They got to be ready for every good work. So you got to stay in order. This is how you protect yourself from being deceived, from what sounds good or what may feel good. You got to stay in order. You got to practice obedience. And a lot of us don't do that enough to where we eliminate the opportunity for us to fall victim. Job chapter 12 verse 16.
Job chapter 12 and verse 16. With him is strength and wisdom.
It says with the Most High is what?
Strength and wisdom.
Read on.
The deceived.
The Most High, the scriptures say that the deceived, read.
And the deceiver.
What? Go ahead.
Are his.
They belong to who?
The Most High.
So the Most High is controlling what? He's controlling both aspects of what we're reading in the scriptures.
The test.
Jadon is the prophet that's sent to give instructions to King Jeroboam. And he gets deceived on the way out of the city after he delivers the prophecy. He gets deceived by a wicked prophet that was envious of him, that didn't want him to be more esteemed and favored to the king than himself. But when we read and understand the Bible, both parties are controlled by who?
Most High.
So who does the Most High have set up?
The deceiver.
No, the deceived.
Oh, yeah.
They get the deceiver sets up the deceived.
Yeah.
But who does the Most High have set up?
Deceived.
The deceived. Why? Why does the Most High have the deceived set up?
Like you said, it's a test.
It's a test for what?
It's trying to see where his spirit is at. Where his actual most high is at.
You know what? You know why the Most High got the deceived set up? Because there was something that they were supposed to do that we don't understand is so valuable. It's really a protection. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1 and 2.
First Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 1.
You might want to put this on your wall. You may want to put this on a bumper sticker. You might want to put this on your mirror when you brush your teeth. You may want to put this somewhere where you can see it all the time. He said what?
1 Corinthians 4:1. Let a man so account of us as of the ministers of Christ.
It says, as long as you understand that you are a minister of Christ. If you can understand that, read on.
And stewards of the mysteries of the Most High.
And a steward is a butler or a servant. What is the obligation or expectation of Christ and the Most High for us as ministers and stewards? What is our obligation in the eyes of the Most High in Christ? Read on.
Verse 2. Moreover, it is required.
It is what?
Required.
He said it is required that what?
In stewards.
It says in stewards, which is servants, which we are. Read on.
Says that a man be found faithful.
It says it is a requirement as a servant of the Most High that you be found what?
Faithful.
So as long as you're faithful and obedient, you have not to worry about being deceived. As long as you're faithful and obedient. You don't have to be worried about playing the role of somebody that's been tricked. So the deceived is purposely set up because they're not what?
Faithful.
Because they're not faithful. The deceived is purposely set up because they're not obedient. That's who the deceived, that's who the trick is made for. Even the scriptures say the law is not made for who?
Lawless.
But the law is not made for a righteous man, but for who?
But for law.
But for the sinner.
Oh. Yeah.
So the Most High got deception ready to be distributed to who? The unfaithful and the disobedient. That's who is waiting in the midst to be deceived. So we understand what he's saying. The deceived and the deceiver are his. The Most High got the deceiver ready to deceive the person that don't know how to follow instructions, that don't know how to stay in order, and that is not faithful to what they're told. They deviate from instruction. So guess what you got coming to you?
Deception.
You got deception coming to you. You have a responsibility. It's a requirement that us as ministers be what?
Faithful.
Faithful. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We're going back to receivers.
We're going to come back in a minute.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1 reads, Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection.
Stop. He said, ye wives also be what?
Be in subjection.
Although we're reading about a man being deceived, a prophet being deceived, deception doesn't stop at men only. Deception is also for who?
Ye wives.
With women. Women can be tricked too. It's not just that man got to watch out for, the big bad wolf, and man just got to make sure he's on point and that he's faithful and obedient. No, it's for both sides. It's for male and female. Men got to be in order, and also women, specifically wives, got to be in order. He said if the subject means to yield your will. Read on.
Come, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands.
Say, because that's who the superior is, your husband. That's who the head is, your husband. So be in subjection to him. Read on.
That if any obey not the word.
So if you don't follow the scriptures, if you're unfaithful to the word of the Most High, if you deviate from the word of the Most High, then what happens?
They also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise.
So she can be easily influenced and deceived. Once again, deception is for people that are what?
Unfaithful.
That's unfaithful and disobedient. That's what deception is for. Deception is made for the unfaithful. Deception is made for the disobedient. See, if you don't know how to get in order, you don't know how to stay in order, then that's who deception is made for. It's made for you. But if you know how to do what you're told, and you know how to follow instructions, then you have no worry, you have no fear. Because you sustain the fear of the Lord. It maintains you on a straight and narrow path. I know how to follow what I'm told. I don't deviate because I got a particular lust or desire or thing that I want so bad that's going to make me offset righteousness and trade off what I'm told and instruction from the Most High. I don't have that pull. It's for males and it's for females. It's not just for men. Women got to know how to be in order too, especially if you're married.
You want that Hebrews 13:17?
Yeah, you can read that too. Obey that rule over you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can read that.
Get that Hebrews 13 and verse 17.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17.
Just on that point. Read that.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you.
It says, obey them that have rule over you, whether it be the man or your ranking officer. Why is that? Read on.
And submit yourselves.
Okay.
For they watch for your souls.
So their job is to protect you and see what you can't see. We can't see the side temptations, the potential persuasion coming in. A lot of time we can't even see our own lusts. We can't see how bad or the magnitude of our lust is. So when you have people putting hedges around you, it is to protect you. It is to prevent you from falling and stumbling on your own wickedness. It is to make sure that you stay on the path that you said you wanted to stay on. Read on.
It says, as they that must give account.
Because we also have to give account to the Most High in Christ what we did to help you stay on your course.
As responsible stewards.
Exactly. Because our job with the ones who have understanding is to help you navigate in this life. The Most High created each and every one of us to help each other stay on a single course. So I had to give an account on what I was doing, how I wasn't in a stumbling block, or how I was a proper watchman, how I did blow the trumpet when I saw this could be a potential issue, or that could be a potential temptation. I had to give an account to Christ about that. When he's recalling, okay, this brother made this mistake. What did you do to prevent it? What did you see that you didn't say anything about? What ailment or what medicine could you have given at that time to maybe prevent that bad negative result? That is the what you got.
So we got to know who receives and gives reports.
Expound that a little
bit. We must give account.
Yes, we must give account to Christ on the person that we're responsible. So whether it be for children, wives, men under you, we have to give an account on why they did what they did and why you didn't help them, or why you aided in their negativity. Read on.
Yes, sir. It says, for they watch for your souls as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy.
And that's why, as the person who has to follow, shouldn't be grieving or kicking or arguing or fighting with the person over them. Because it's our job to look at the counsel as this person's helping my salvation. He's helping my chances of becoming saved by the correction, by the hedges, by the constant admonishment. Read on.
It says, and not with grief,
And don't grieve them. Read.
for that is unprofitable for you.
Because the worst thing in the world is for that steward, that leader, that watchman to stop correcting you and stop opening their mouth. Because now you don't know when you're falling, tipping over the scales.
And you don't know when the Most High is going to drop the hammer on you.
Exactly.
Because what we learn from Ezekiel 33 is that the watchman is supposed to sound the trumpet when the Most High bring the sword upon the land.
Yes.
So that means that the watchman was there to preserve me from danger.
Huh.
So when I stop listening to the watchman, then who's going to preserve me from danger? Nobody. They're not, and the Most High specifically is targeting those that don't know how to be in order.
Huh.
He's specifically sending the deceiver to those that don't know how to follow. They don't know how to be obedient. That's not faithful to instructions.
Yeah.
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 13.
1 Timothy chapter 5,
Let's start at verse 12.
verse 12.
Let's start at verse 11, really.
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 11. But the younger widows refuse. For when they have begun to wax wanton against
It says
Christ,
when they start to wax what?
wanton,
What does that mean when a young woman starts to wax wanton? What does that mean?
Wanting, lusting, or lacking.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Ah.
W-A-N-T-O-N.
Paul said, Wonton, 1828, Webster's Dictionary.
With 3.
Loose.
Whoa. Young women have the propensity to get what?
Loose.
To get loose. And to get what?
Unrestrained.
They break away from restraints. They break away. They wiggle out of control, being submitted. They have the idea, the notion to want to be free. He said, well, if they develop this desire to be wanton, they start to grow wanton, which means to be loose or what?
Unrestrained.
Unrestrained. What else?
Run into excess.
It says to run to excess. They want more of what life has to offer. They're not content on where they are. Read on.
And trifling.
They become trifling. What else?
An insignificant flutterer.
So when they begin to wax wanton, they got an itch and they want it scratched, and they start to pursue freedoms and liberty. What happens?
Get 3.
Get the third definition.
It says, wandering from moral rectitude.
It says wandering from moral rectitude, from moral rightness. They're no longer obedient to what's right. They do what they want to do. Young women have the propensity to do this, to want to get free. Break the rules a little bit, have some fun. See what life has to offer. What happens in the scripture?
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 11. But the younger widows refuse. For when they have begun to wax wanton against Christ, they will marry.
They will do what?
They will marry.
They're going to go find a man. You can't stop them.
By any means.
You can't. They'll take it. It'll be the guy next door.
Yeah.
You don't know who it'll be. It'll be the guy at the job. It'll be anything from school, whatever. It's hard to stop. But what's the problem with that? Read on.
Having damnation.
Why?
Because they have cast off their first faith.
It says, what happens and why do people deviate over time?
Because they have cast off their first faith.
They start to lose zeal. See, this is why the prophet was able to shoot down Jeroboam. He was able to shoot down Jeroboam and say, man, if you gave me half the kingdom, I'm not coming back to your house. But on the way out the city, with a little slight subversion and manipulation, a fake prophet got him to come back home. Because what happens to all of us? We tend to cast off what?
Cast off their first faith.
You lose the zeal naturally that you came in the truth with. This is how initially when you would have told somebody hell no, that hell no will turn to maybe.
I've been thinking about it.
Give me, you know, let me check, man. Let me see what I can do. Why not? Well, before you would have said, hell no, I ain't doing that. I ain't going over there. Then you start asking, well, what's wrong with it? Why is that a bad thing? Can somebody explain to me why smoking ain't good? Can somebody explain to me what's wrong with it? The Most High say smoke came out his nose. People actually use that verse.
Wow.
The Most High was hot with anger. That was a metaphor for anger. And they took that metaphor for anger as, see, the Lord smoked. So why can't I? But people will, the scripture says sinful man find an excuse. So, but before you would have said hell no. Then it's, well, what's wrong with it? Why not? Because what happens is people lose zeal over time. And for this verse, I got to read this particular commentary on this particular verse. This is the Elliott's commentary on this particular verse. It says, and withal, read that verse, read verse 13, read verse 13.
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 13.
Yes.
And withal, they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house.
Go ahead.
And not only idle, but tattlers, also in busybodies.
They become tattlers, busybodies, what else?
Speaking things which they ought not.
He said this is what happens to younger women when they begin to wax wanton, when they want to get freedom. They cast off their first faith. They lose their discipline. Let me get that right there from the wonder from house. Yeah, the first fervor.
It says the first fervor.
So it says when we get the truth, you have a fervor for the truth. You have a zeal for the truth. You have a desire to serve the Most High. He said, but that first fervor always diminishes. Everybody's zeal that when they get the truth and what it means to them, it doesn't mean the same thing over time.
Yeah.
It starts to lose its potency. Why I'm here and why I do what I do. We start to decline. He said the first fervor.
The first fervor of the devotion and renunciation of self-will.
It says they have devotion initially and they renounce what?
Of self-will.
So this is what male and female do this. They're devoted, which means they're loyal, dedicated, and they renounce self-will. I don't do what I want to do. I do what I'm told. People lose that ability over time. It's just a matter of time before they start to diminish, especially when they lose the fear of the Lord. When you lose the fear of the Lord, you naturally start to depreciate. The quality of the person that you are starts to diminish. You don't have the same fortitude you used to have. You don't have the same zeal you used to have. You don't have the same fervency and fight you used to have. You don't have the same care and love for the truth you used to have. You don't have the same discipline that you used to have. All of it starts to wane and disappear. Read.
This is the first fervor of the devotion and renunciation of self-will have cooled.
It's what?
Have cooled.
They're no longer hot, but they're what?
They're cold.
They're cold now. They're cooling off. Your devotion and ability to follow instructions actually starts to wear off. This is what you got to watch out for. Things that you would have never done before. You would find yourself later on in the truth with more knowledge doing the things you would have never did even when you was young. Why is that? He said because that first fervor starts to cool. This can happen to anybody, not just women. This could happen to anybody. Read on.
It says their very occupation.
It says what?
Their very occupation.
The work that they do for the Most High. Read.
Will become a snare to them.
It said it will become a what?
A snare to them.
Why is it that the work that I do for the Lord is a snare?
Because you're not getting what you want.
Because it's not what I want to do anymore. That's when doing the work becomes a conflict of interest, is what we're reading about. Doing the work of the Lord becomes a conflict of interest when your zeal starts to disappear. Because it's not in you to suffer anymore. It's not in you to suffer for righteousness anymore. It's not in you to lose out for somebody else anymore. It's not in you to be second place or third place or on the back burner anymore. It's not in you to put yourself last.
So you're saying these situations are to expose that insincerity.
Yes.
That we might think we have.
Yes. See, the Most High got the deceiver set up for those that start to lose zeal too.
Mm-hmm.
The deceiver is always available for those that are starting to diminish in their zeal, in their zealousness, their desire to serve. If you start to lose that fire, the deceiver starts to become more relevant and available to you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you may not be necessarily aware of it.
You don't know because you're declining slowly.
Mm.
It's a slow decline. But one thing you do know is you're not the man that you were when you first came in the truth. You would have ran through a wall.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, read that. Read that in Hebrews.
What's that? Lost your first love?
No. It might be it's 2 Peter 3 and 1, but that's not the one I want. But it's saying the same thing. That's not the one I want though. But it's something similar to this it says in the Hebrews, but read this for now.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1 says, "This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you in both which I stir up your pure mind."
He says somebody got to stir up what?
Your pure mind.
Somebody got to take you back to where you started at, because where you started at, you were more pure. You had a more pure, positive outlook towards the truth. Therefore, you would do anything for the truth. There's nothing that you wouldn't do for the truth, for the body of Christ. He said, but sometimes what has to happen is people have to stir this up because we forget. Read.
It says, "This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you in both which I stir up your pure mind."
Nah, this is what I want. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 32. That's the one. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 32. Same thing. Same similar, but a little bit more detail. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 32.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 32. "But call to remembrance."
It says you got to call to remembrance. You got to go back to when you was young in the truth and you first got the knowledge. When I first got the knowledge, I quit my job. I quit everything I was doing. I quit everything. I said to hell with whatever, my whole career that I had lined up. I cast that off, and so did the men over me. Oh, the men over me had grand potential in the world. And they threw it all away to serve the Most High in Christ. I had bonus money lined up. I had jobs lined up. I had bigger positions lined up. All that was foolishness. I let it all go, move right into the brother's house. Now you ask a man to move to the brother's house, it's like, man, I got to think about that. I don't know if I can go back and suffer like that. I need my space now. I need my elbow room. Yeah. When I moved into the brother's house, it was sharing a room. We had military bunks. We didn't have regular beds. We had a military bunk that was thrown away that somebody got from a trash near a dumpster, and the springs, it wasn't even a frame. It was a spring. It was a spring system on the box spring was a spring, and it had a thin mattress on it, and it sunk down in the middle. Oh. Every day you wake up, your back is on fire because you're sunk down in the middle. There was no support system, and it was just metal bed on springs. But you ask somebody to go back to that, and they hesitate. Man, I don't know if I can go back to that life. I don't know if I can suffer those things that I once suffered that I did for the truth when we didn't get paid nothing, or we just had enough for $10 of gas. Yeah. And we had enough just to wash clothes. I don't know if I can put myself back in those shoes. Somebody got to stir up that zeal that you had when you first got the truth. That's why I said what?
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 32. But call to remembrance the former days.
It said there was a time, once upon a time, read on.
In which, after ye were illuminated.
It said when you got the truth, you were inspired to go and do whatever the Most High wanted you to do. You would have quit whatever. You would have cast off whatever. You would have left friends, family, anything that was preventing you from the knowledge of the Most High in Christ. I've seen men go AWOL. I've seen men leave houses fully furnished when they got this knowledge. I've seen men jump through whatever hoops, be threatened with jail, child support, if you don't do what I tell you to do. Seen all of it. But somebody got to stir that pot to get you back in the mind frame where you were when you first got the knowledge. When you didn't let nothing stop you from getting the knowledge. I remember when Dawiyah first came to class, we had the flood of 03. We had two floods that were historic in San Antonio. The flood of 98, where a lot of people died when the water subsided, and they found people trapped in cars, drowned.
Wow.
And the flood of 2002. Dawiyah came in around the flood of 2002, where we had monsoon-type floods. And if anybody knows San Antonio, we are known for low water crossings and rapid water. The water goes from just a trickle to being a full-blown damn river in seconds.
Yeah.
And Dawiyah walked through a ditch full of water to go to class. We were going to cancel class because the floods was too heavy. It was that dangerous. They didn't want nobody on the road. Dawiyah walked through a ditch full of water and mud and showed up in class with mud to his thighs. It said, I'm not finna miss class. You won't even get your feet wet nowadays. People won't even get their feet wet nowadays in classes. I'm not saying Dawiyah, I'm saying some people make excuse to where they want, man, it's raining, I don't want to get wet. Dawiyah walked through a ditch. Now I ain't talking about a concrete ditch, I'm talking about a muddy ditch full of water. He waded through mud and water to get to class. He said, but somebody got to stir up that level of desire that you once had, because what you don't understand is over time, the fire that you have for Christ that light starts to diminish like a light bulb. That light bulb starts to get dim. You need a recharge. Read on.
But call to remembrance the former days, in which, after ye were illuminated.
What happened after you got the truth and you were enlightened with the truth? Read on.
Ye endured.
You did what?
Ye endured.
It didn't matter if it was the money, it was the time that you spent, that it took to be available. It was the effort that you gave. It was the things you quit, the things you gave up, that you sacrificed. It says you endured what?
A great fight of affliction.
It says if you were told, hey brother, you got to get up and go to another city. That's how a war got here.
Yeah.
A war got snatched out of California. Brother, you either staying or going. You need to go. Matter of fact, you're on a road crew. You going to Albuquerque. Then you went to Albuquerque for a couple months. Brother, you going to Oklahoma. You going to brother's house, Oklahoma. Right when he get comfortable in Oklahoma, brother, you got to pack up and get your bags. You finna go to open up a camp in Miami. You finna go help Miami camp. Right when he get a job, get comfortable in Miami, brother, hey, get your bags ready. You finna go to Antonio. And that's where he at. That's where he's at now. Never picked and choose where he was going to live. Never made a decision on where he was going to lay his head at. He was told where to go to expand the truth, to expand the gospel. And every time he got comfortable, every time he thought, okay, I'm gonna set my roots down in Miami, man. That's where the Lord want me to be at. Nope, get up and go to San Antonio. Man, and you know, right when he said, man, you know what, forget it. Wherever the Most High want me at, that's where I be at. And then the Most High ended up having him here. But a lot of us will endure a great fight when you first get the knowledge. When the knowledge is brand new, you won't do it though over time. That's the problem. Can't anybody ask you to do something. People got to be nice to you to get you to do something nowadays. Yeah. They got to say please and thank you. Can you please, brother, do this? Thank you, brother. The water.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, because men got an attitude like, brother, don't you know you got an attitude this small time, brother?
Yeah.
Men give up cars, houses, clothes, money, jewelry, everything. I see brothers take their jewelry off and give it to brothers. Man, I want you to shine. This is for you. Can't ask a brother barely do anything. Because that light bulb is going down. They don't got the same fervency. Can't really ask nothing of them. Anything is too much. I say sisters really take whatever resources they had. And whatever resources the sister had belonged to the camp. Food, houses, food stamps, clothes, beds, time, resources. You gotta beg sisters to follow orders nowadays. Sister, if you don't mind, can you please give somebody a ride? Man, sister would have gave cars up, houses up. Different era. But if that zeal doesn't get stirred back up, you ain't gonna fight long. It won't be long before somebody with some type of deception has an open plate for you to take, and you'll take it.
Yep.
Because you're not on fire anymore. You're open to new ideas. Your zeal and desire to serve Christ has cooled off. Read that one more time, and then finish this for me.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 32. But call to remembrance the former days, in which, after ye were illuminated,
go ahead,
ye endured a great fight of affliction.
It said, what hell wouldn't you catch when you first got the knowledge of Christ? You were called that you was in a cult? That's light work. Being called, oh man, you in a cult. Oh man, you letting men tell you what to do? That's light work.
Yep.
You can't think for yourself? That's light work. They told you to do what with your car? That's your car. Matter of fact, that car's on my credit. Why you letting them? This is my name. Why you letting them drive that car? I'll put half on that.
Yeah.
That's light work. It ain't light work no more. When you start to diminish in fervency for Christ, if you don't let nobody stir you back up, everybody's light bulbs start to lose that shine. It start to grow real dull. Be a bunch of dull light bulbs. Don't give off a lot of light. Why is that? Read on. I mean, let that go. I just wanted that point. Read.
Their very occupation will become a snare to them.
It said, but when I do the work of Christ, but I don't have it the same zeal, the work becomes a what?
A snare.
Because it's not in me to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it anymore. Now I got to fight to go to work for Christ. That's not what you did when you first started.
Nope.
Now brother got to sit there and wake me up. I remember brothers wouldn't even... I watched men put an alarm clock on their chest to get up in the morning. Not even lying. I watched men sleep with a Radio Shack. For those that know Radio Shack, they really ain't in business no more. But if you know Radio Shack used to sell an alarm that was called the loudest alarm in the world. And I watched a brother buy that Radio Shack alarm that was called the loudest alarm in the world and put it on his chest so he can make sure he get up in the morning so we don't miss inspection. And that didn't even work. Because it woke everybody else up in the house. We all woke up from the alarm instead of him. We had to wake him up to turn the alarm off. That's how it worked. And then He said, you know what? Forget it then. If I can't wake up, then I'm going to sleep in the chair. The brother actually slept in the chair like this. So to make sure he wouldn't fall asleep and miss work in the morning for Christ. He actually slept in a chair upright. Like that. Like this damn chair I'm sitting in now. I watch a man sleep like this for hours. Just to make sure he don't get... Man, you can't get a brother to do that now. You think a brother going to fight like that nowadays? Hell no. You think a brother going to sleep in a chair to make sure he get up for Christ? No.
It's going to be disgruntled faces, right?
I watch brothers sleep in cars to make sure, man, I'm not even going to go home.
Yep.
Because by the time I go home, if I fall asleep, I know I ain't going to get up in the morning. I'm finna sleep right here at the school.
Yep.
I'm going to sleep at the school to make sure I get up on time because I'm going to already be here, so I'm not going to be late because I'm already be here.
Some of us do that. Some of us do that. We'll do that. We've done that before. We can pull that off. Some of us.
I give it a little credit.
Some of us pull that off. Some of us pull that off.
Little credit. Little baby credit. I give
Yeah,
it
a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So is that diminishing? Could it be a lack of a desire of responsibility?
No. It's a lack of desire to suffer for Christ.
Yeah.
I don't want to suffer anymore. The truth don't mean the same no more.
Then we put Christ on a bartering system. I'll continue to do X, Y, and Z if you give me what I want.
Yep.
And then when you're not giving me what I want, then our production, our desire,
it really
falls off.
Yep.
Quickly. Then that cloud starts popping up brothers' heads. That dark cloud. We like, man, this brother's he's on the clock.
He's on the clock.
Yep.
Well, what does that mean on the clock? It's only a matter of time before the deceiver's at his door.
Yep.
Read on.
It says, their very occupation will become a snare to them. The going about to the various dwellings for the object of counseling.
It says, so they stop being disciplined and they start going, instead of going to the elders, he said they start going about to where? To various what?
Various dwellings.
He said they go get, I want somebody to tell me what I want to hear. I don't want to hear no. I don't want to hear you can't do that anymore. I don't want to hear somebody steering me in the right direction. This is what happens when somebody's zeal starts to cool off. I don't want to be told anymore the right thing. I start trying to figure out and go places and find people that tells me what I want to hear that aligns with my desires, my wants, that aligns with my will. Yes, sir.
Or somebody to tell me that my decision making or how I'm thinking is negative.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that though.
Yeah.
Because that's not where I want to be. Because I'm losing my fervency in Christ. So now I start going to people that tell me what I want to hear. I'm going to another camp.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going. Hey, brother. Yeah, I'm going here, or I'm going to counsel somebody else.
Yeah.
Y'all must not care about what I got going on.
Yeah.
So y'all must be too busy to hear about what I got going on. So I'm going to counsel over here. So they start to do what?
They're going about to the various dwellings for the object of counseling,
Go ahead.
instructing, assisting would give them. Now that their minds were no longer exclusively turned to religious thoughts.
It says what happens when you lose your zeal is that your mind is no longer just solely entertained by religious thoughts. You don't get a kick out of reading the Bible anymore. That doesn't inspire you anymore. The Bible is really like you got to go to it when you have to go to it, not because you want to go to it. When you first get the truth, there's time when you can't stop reading the Bible. And there's some time when you can't even sleep.
Yes.
You will stay up all night reading the Bible because the spirit in you is so hungry and you're so thirsty for the word of the Lord, you can't sleep. The spirit won't let you go to sleep. You will literally read till the sun come up. And the Most High will just be feeding you with new things, showing you new things you ain't never seen before. Because you're open at that time. Because the zeal is available. Nowadays, you can't read for more than 10, 15 minutes, and you got to barely do that. It's a struggle to do 15 minutes. It's a struggle to do an hour of study. Without multiple excuses coming up by how much I got time, busy, I got this going on, I got that. No, it's not. It's not that you don't have time. Because when you first got the truth, the scriptures you were so enlightened, you was telling everybody about the truth. Everybody on your job, everybody that you interacted with, everybody that you came across, they was gonna get a scripture, or they was gonna get, hey brother, do you know who you are? Do you know your nationality? Do you know you're a child of the Most High God? Do you know you're the chosen, you're the lost sheep of the house of the Most High? Everybody's gonna get hit up.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Everybody don't get hit up. You barely mention scriptures to people. Read.
It says, now their minds were no longer exclusively turned to religious thoughts, and their hearts were no more alone filled by Yahushua.
It says their heart is no longer alone filled by who?
Yahushua.
They said their heart is not filled. Doing Yahushua's work doesn't fulfill me. I'm unfulfilled. Now I got the curse of the unfulfilled heart. And we've had many men and many women get this truth and then grow to become unfulfilled, where this doesn't inspire them anymore. Doing the work doesn't inspire them anymore. Studying doesn't inspire them anymore. Being obedient and suffering affliction really don't inspire them anymore.
Yeah.
Losing for Christ don't inspire them anymore. Read on.
It says, many an opportunity of wasting precious hours.
It says many, they'll do what?
Many an opportunity of wasting precious hours.
What do you call that? When you lose your fire for Christ, you start entertaining what?
Vices.
Distractions.
Yeah. Yep.
This is what happens when you lose your zeal for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You start being easily distracted.
Yes.
You're vulnerable to distractions. Anything can take your focus away. It's like Christ versus Telemundo. It's like Christ versus Cartoon Network.
Yep.
It's like Christ versus ESPN. It's like Christ versus HBO. It's Christ versus CNN. It's Christ versus YouTube. It's Christ versus Netflix.
Yep.
Everything now is against Christ because you don't have the same zeal.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm just surfing the net. Go ahead.
It says, many an opportunity of wasting precious hours of indulging in frivolous.
It says they indulge in what?
In frivolous.
What?
If not in harmful conversation.
It says they start giving themselves to idle and frivolous conversations that have nothing to do with scriptures, nothing to do with spirituality,
Yep.
nothing to do with religious thought, nothing to do with discipline, nothing to do with doing more work for the Most High Christ. It's always a conversation that ain't got nothing to do with being strong. Go ahead.
It says, and this the apostle seems to have feared will be the result of these visits.
It says the apostle feared that this would happen to the congregation. He said, man, I fear that what would happen when you start to lose your zeal is scary. Because you're no longer half the person you used to be. And you won't even suffer long like you used to suffer. You're not even obedient anymore. You barely follow. Now you got an opinion, or you have to have a reason to be convinced or persuaded to do something that you may feel uncomfortable. Read.
It says, and the fruit of their work, if the younger sisters were enrolled in the official list, for he speaks of such becoming not only idle.
He says not only idle, but what?
But tattlers.
He said this is the result of somebody losing their zeal for Christ. You start to become idle. You waste time. You don't value time. You entertain distractions. You open yourself up to other ideas. And you do what?
He says, not only idle, but tattlers also, and busybodies.
You're jumping from business to business. You're looking at other people's houses. You trying to figure out what they got going on and what they got going on. It's no longer about your change. It's not about your salvation anymore. It's about who got what you don't have.
Yep.
And I'm comparing myself to other people. Now I'm a busybody. Go ahead.
Speaking things which they ought not.
So this is the result of losing your zeal. So for that reason, the Most High has a deceiver set up for everyone that loses their zeal. You understand that? The Most High has a deceiver waiting in the midst for those that really don't have the desire to serve him. Trouble is lurking. So this is the danger that the apostle said, man, I'm trying to warn these young sisters. I'm afraid of that. That's what would happen. But that would happen to male and females. That's why I said anybody can suffer this. That's why you got to go back to be reminded of why do you do what you do and who do you do it for. That reason of why you do what you do better be on the top of your list, your things to do list. Man, I got to do this for Christ. I got to change and evolve for Christ. I'm not in here for what I'm trying to gain. It's about what I can give and what I can offer and what I could do. So we understand that, right? It's important that we be grounded. Let's go to Galatians chapter 1, verse 8 through 10 one more time. Just 1 and 8. You read it earlier. And then somebody else go back to 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 18.
Galatians chapter 1, verse 8. Have you read?
Yep.
God. But though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
He said, let him be what?
Let him be accursed.
Now let's go back to 1 Kings chapter 13 and read verse 18.
1 Kings chapter 13, verse 18. He said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Most High, saying, bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him.
So why would the Most High have this prophet be lied to by a fake prophet?
To expose his lust.
Because it revealed something. He was only obedient for so long. He denied and rejected the larger, bigger blessing or offer that Jeroboam offered him. But the subtle one, he couldn't see it. Because there was still something in him that the Most High saw that he was vulnerable to. He was still susceptible to what? To a lie. How is it that I'm still susceptible to lies? Why is that? Why am I still susceptible to lies?
Because you're already looking for something else.
Bingo.
Right?
Bingo. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 10.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them.
It says, but all the deceivableness of how a person is deceived and caught up of the unrighteousness in them that what?
That perish.
I can only be deceived if there's what in me? Unrighteousness in me. Deceivableness is more prevalent to somebody that possesses unrighteousness. He says, why will I fall victim to a lie or be deceived by something so simple as disrespecting or disobeying the Most High's order that I know I was given? Read.
God. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth.
Because they receive not the what?
The love of the truth.
They didn't fall in love with what?
The truth.
They didn't fall in love with being obedient to the Most High's instructions. They didn't fall in love with submitting their will. They didn't fall in love with being told what to do. Receiving instructions. They didn't fall in love with sacrificing. If you don't love this truth and love what it entails and the work that comes along with it, then you are a bait for a deceiver. You got to love the truth and everything it stands for. Because otherwise, something's going to weed you out. Something as simple as a lie will weed you out. Something as simple as a fake pastor, a fake prophet will come through, which we've actually had a situation where there was a female supposed a prophet. She called herself a prophet and took men out of the truth and followed this woman across state lines and said she's the prophet from the Most High. For one, a woman on top of that. Called herself a prophetess. And many men got caught up in following that woman who was a self-proclaimed prophet. Pulled out of the truth. How could that happen? Because they never fell in love with what?
The truth.
They didn't fall in love with the truth. You better learn how to fall in love with the truth. You got to love everything that comes with serving Christ. Whether it's affliction, whether it's to be made uncomfortable, whether it's suffering, whether it's being put last, whether it's not having control, you got to love it. You have to love it. Because your salvation depends on it. Otherwise, somebody could easily come with some two-bit speech and pull you out the truth. You know Paul wasn't a real figure in the Bible, right? It's the most simple two-bit madness. You know Paul wasn't real, right? You know that was only a metaphor. You know you can't believe in the New Testament, right? Because most of it was written by Paul, so you can't believe that. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. You can't be that naive to believe it. You can't believe in the New Testament. Isn't the New Testament the revelation of Jesus Christ? Isn't that what reveals Christ to us?
Wasn't the same thing, but brother almost got me when I first came in. He came up to me with a certain angle. I was in the mall with Yashala, and the brother just came up to me just out of nowhere. The brothers were over here speaking to someone else. And he came up with a certain angle. Man. I just felt fear rush over me, man. And I just screamed. I said, Yashala. He didn't hear me the first time. I screamed again. I said, Yashala. I screamed again. I said, Yashala. To the top of my lungs. And the brother looked back. He was annoyed. Like, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
And he came over, and I told him what was going on. And the brother just started cutting into him. But, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what Satan do. Satan is there to pull out that which was sown into a man's heart. His job is to take that seed that's planted and throw it away. He don't want that seed to take root. He don't want that seed to germinate and grow roots and become rooted in this truth. His job is to pull that seed out as fast as possible and discard it so that you don't grow. Yes, sir.
I want to a brother that carries some respect. He was feeding me some stuff and almost pulled me away from the duties here at this camp.
Yeah.
And I had to confess that. And, I was like, the water for telling.
God, but if you're not mindful and conscious of it, you can easily be swayed. Especially with brothers that used to be in the truth. Because their words carry a little bit more weight. When they start throwing names out. They start throwing brothers' names out. Well, you know this brother? Well, I was with the camp during this year. Can't trust them brothers. I've been through this, and we slept on bunk beds. We slept on the floor. They took our money. People always have a twist to the experience. And they took the experience and had a negative connotation associated with the experience, and they try to come back and feed that to men, new men. And you got to fall in love with what you're going through. No matter how uncomfortable it may seem, otherwise, you're bait in the making. You got to know what it is and why you do what you do. And you got to stay cognizant of that. And reminded of, man, I can't lose the reason why I came in this truth to begin with. Then come gainsayers, naysayers. Now I got heretics that can implant some poison in my head. Read on.
God. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth.
It said, I was all baited, and I passed away, and I removed myself from the strength and the stronghold and the knowledge that the Most High was feeding me, because I didn't fall in love with the truth. Read on.
That they might be saved.
Because I didn't realize that all the things that I was going through was part of my salvation. It was qualifying me for salvation. Read on.
Verse 11. And for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion.
Because if I don't love this work and everything that comes with it, the Most High will send me a strong delusion. Read.
That they should believe a lie.
Why did the prophet Jadon believe a lie? He sent them a delusion by the way of a fake prophet. Because there was something missing in him. He still had a spirit to rebel. There was still something in him that wasn't grounded. His obedience wasn't grounded. How was he able to deny the first king's offer and not deny this man's offer? Something was in him. He said that they should believe what?
They should believe a lie.
Read on.
That they all might be dead who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness.
Because I still had pleasure, or my lust was still where?
In unrighteousness.
Now it doesn't say what this prophet Jadon's pleasure was, but we know he was deceived. We know he believed a lie. We know the deceived and the deceiver are his. We know the Most High sets those up that don't love the truth to be deceived. And he sends them a strong delusion so that they believe a lie. It just doesn't go into the details about Jadon himself as a prophet. He was a man of the Most High, he was a prophet of the Most High. But there were still vulnerabilities in him. And those vulnerabilities became his undoing. Back to 1 Kings chapter 13.
First Kings chapter 13, verse 18.
Yeah, 19.
First Kings chapter 13, verse 19. So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house.
So he bought into the lie. Read on.
And drank water.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Most High came unto the prophet that brought him back.
Which was the fake prophet. Read on.
And he cried unto the man of the Most High that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Most High, for as much as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Most High.
It said now the fake prophet became an actual real prophet.
Sheesh, that's crazy.
He said, as much as you disobeyed, who was setting that scenario up?
Most High.
The Most High was setting that scenario up. Read on.
And has not kept the commandment which the Most High thy power commandeth thee, but camest back, and hast eaten bread, and drunk water in the place, of the which the Lord did say to thee, Eat no bread.
You knew the commandment. You knew the order.
Yep.
You knew what you was asked to do. You knew the details of my instruction. You violated. Read on.
And drink no water. Thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers.
It says you're not going to be buried with your fathers. You're not going to make it. Count you out. Read on.
And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread, and after he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass, to wit, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way, and slew him. And his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass.
Oh.
Man, so the lion chose the man and left the other meat.
Yeah.
Fully intact. It's all divine. Read on.
And behold, men passed by, and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass.
That's an anomaly, man.
That's crazy.
Why kill the man and leave the animal? And then the animal didn't even run from the lion. They were just chilling with each other.
That's right.
And the lion stayed there.
The lion's chilling. Man's dead. The ass is just right there next to both of them.
Wow.
Didn't even run off. That's a sight to see. Read on.
And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, "It is the man of the Most High, who was disobedient."
He said what? He was what?
It was the man of the Most High who was disobedient
I knew who it was. It was the man of the Most High that was disobedient. Read on.
unto the word of the Most High.
That's what happens when you're not grounded. You got to stay grounded to the word of the Most High. And you got to stay fervent in your production and your sacrifices for what you do for the truth. You got to keep your fire lit. That's something that you are responsible for.
Huh.
Nobody can light your fire but you. Christ's sacrifice is enough to keep us all lit if we tap into it. If you become selfless like he became selfless, it's enough to keep you all fervent. All of us can be fervent and remain fervent as long as we stay conscious of why we're here. Don't ever lose the purpose and intention of why the Most High woke you up out of the world. Read on.
Therefore the Most High hath delivered him unto the lion, which hath torn him and slain him, according to the word of the Most High, which he spake unto him.
Go ahead.
And he spake to his son, saying, Saddle me the ass. And they saddled him. And he went and found his carcass cast in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. And the prophet took up the carcass of the man of the Most High, and laid it upon the ass, and brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, Alas, my brother.
And he used the what card?
My brother.
He used the brother card. But now this man is completely removed from the work of the Lord, but he's still calling him my brother. First he said, I'm a prophet like you. Now he calling him my brother. My brother, he my brother. Read.
And it came to pass, after he had buried him, that he spake to his son, saying, When I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of the Most High is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the saying which he cried by the word of the Most High against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, shall surely come to pass.
And the false prophet said, yes, everything he did said is true. He was a real prophet. But what didn't he maintain?
His fervency.
His fervency and his obedience and his faithfulness. All these things he didn't maintain. That's why when you do the work of the Lord, it's your responsibility, like the scripture we read, it's a requirement as a servant or as a steward that we remain faithful. That's a requirement. You got to find the motivation to keep your fire lit in this truth. Nobody can do that for you. But I guarantee you, if you keep studying, you will find more reasons why it's necessary that you follow after the footsteps of Christ.
Okay.
You have to stay tethered to the word to stay grounded in this truth so you don't lose your zeal. First thing that go out the window when men start to lose their zeal, they stop studying. It's the first thing to go out the window. They don't read the Bible anymore. Well, how long do you think you're going to last? If you don't even read. If you don't even study to put it in mind. All right, back to Josephus. We're in the Josephus, page 230. We're in book 8, chapter 9. We're going to start at line 243.
Got it. 243.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. It says, but now, when he had performed those funeral rites to the prophet and had given that charge to his sons, and as he was a wicked and impious man.
It says, though this prophet was a wicked and impious. Go ahead.
He goes to Jeroboam and says to him.
So now, this wicked and impious prophet had one job, and he accomplished his mission. His job was to deceive the man of God, and he accomplished his mission. But it's going to show you how and what language he used to deceive him, to put a stain on him. Because ultimately, the good prophet, the man of the Lord, was sent to change Jeroboam's heart and get him to repent.
He messed the message up.
Through this wicked prophet, he played defense and blocked him from having Jeroboam ultimately repent. So read that.
Crazy.
And it says, and this wicked and pious man, he goes to Jeroboam. Go ahead.
And says to him, and wherefore is it now that thou art disturbed?
It says, man, I hope you're at peace now that this prophet is dead. Read on.
At the words of this silly fellow?
He called him a what?
A silly fellow.
He said, man, I'm glad you're at peace now because this man is dead, because this man is a silly fellow. What do you call this language?
Insults?
Insults? Yeah.
You said, what do you call this language?
Yeah, when somebody calls another person a silly fellow.
Oh, that light man.
Derogatory.
Derogatory? What else do you call it?
Slander?
It's a slander.
Oh,
It's a slander. Get the definition of slander.
Slander. 1828, Webster's Dictionary. A false tale or report maliciously.
It was a false report brought to the fake prophet, brought a false report maliciously to Jeroboam, for what?
It says, or report maliciously uttered, intending to injure the reputation.
To destroy the what?
The reputation.
Of who?
Of another by lessening him.
By diminishing who? By diminishing his value. That's what slander is. Slander is when you diminish the reputation of somebody else or the credibility that they deserve. This man was a man of God. He even told his sons, bury me when I die next to this man of God, because what he said is going to come to pass. And then he goes right back to Jeroboam and calls him a what?
Silly fellow.
A silly fellow. What do I do when I slander my brother? I'm diminishing his value in the sight of somebody else. I'm diminishing his value. People use these tactics. This is the tactic of this wicked prophet. I'm going to come in and take away the respect that this person deserves by how I talk about this person. That's what slander is. He's showing you the methods of now that he got the prophet out the way. Now he's working on Jeroboam's mind. Now I got to take away the credibility that this man possessed. Read on.
It says, as he was a wicked and impious man, he goes to Jeroboam and says to him, and wherefore is it now that thou art disturbed at the words of this silly fellow? And when the king had related to him what he had happened about the altar and about his own hand, and gave him the names of divine man and an excellent prophet.
So he said, man, the king was like, man, this man is a man of God because he took my hand withered, and he restored it right back by prayer. And also he told me that the altar was gonna be burning priest bones in the near future by Josiah, and he said the altar was gonna break apart and the ashes was gonna spill out, and it happened just like he said. Read on.
He endeavored by a wicked trick.
He said, so the false prophet endeavored by a what?
a wicked trick
To what?
to weaken his opinion.
So what will a false prophet do?
Weaken your opinion.
Or somebody that use the word my brother, but they don't have the best intention for you? Their objective is to weaken what?
Your opinion.
Your opinion. If I can get you to diminish your opinion to the truth, then I can deceive you out of the truth. If I can instill things to make you doubt the truth, then I can pull you out of it. Just by working on your doubt. I don't got to snatch somebody out the truth. I just start feeding them with things that make them doubt. Destroy the perception of the individuals in the truth. Then I can start working to getting that person out the truth. Read on.
Right. It says, to weaken his opinion. And by using plausible words.
And by using what?
Plausible words.
Words that may sound reasonable.
Right.
These are reasonable words. It's possible. Do what?
Concerning what had happened.
He says, I'll give you another reason why he was able to heal your hand. I'm going to give you an alternative to what you actually saw. Last week we talked about why the Most High sets up signs and why signs are so necessary.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get a sign and see a miracle, and the miracle is supposed to elevate our faith. But what this man's objective is to take away what was obvious to you of the miracles that you've seen in the truth and remove those miracles.
Plausible also means words that gain favor.
Yeah. It sounds believable. So he said, I'll give you the real reason why your hand was healed. Read on.
By using plausible words concerning what had happened. He aimed to injure the truth.
He aimed to what?
To injure the truth.
The truth is, man, the Lord was involved with that hand stiffening up, withering up, and then coming back to its regular form. The Most High was involved with that. The Most High was with me in that. The miracle wasn't by chance. That was the Most High divinely working through this prophet to give me a message. How does somebody take what you've seen with your eyes in the truth and pull it out of you? To make it sound less than divine and making it sound human. He humanized the events and the miracles of the truth and the signs that the Most High was showing you. Humanized it how? Read on.
He aimed to injure the truth.
Go ahead.
That was in them.
Go ahead.
For he attempted to persuade him.
How?
That his hand was enfeebled by the labor it had undergone in supporting the sacrifices.
It says, listen, man,
Come on, bro.
the Lord didn't freeze your hand up. The Lord didn't lock your hand up. That wasn't the Most High doing that to you. You're too good of a man for the Lord to lock your hand up. He said the reason why your hand froze up is because you burnt too many sacrifices that day. It was just fatigue.
You're just so righteous.
You overexerted your arm.
You called a bad cramp.
Yeah, that's what he said. Your arm locked up on a cramp.
Happened to me.
Yeah, you're dehydrated. You need some bananas. You need some potassium. You need to drink some pickle juice. You need some electrolytes. He said, man, it wasn't the Lord that was involved. He said, your hand locked up. For what reason?
It says, by the labor it had undergone in supporting the sacrifices.
Go ahead.
And that upon its resting.
It says, man, you need to start listening to your body more often. Brother, you got to listen when your body's talking to you. Man, when you have brothers telling you listen to your body,
they out the spirit, bro.
Brother, they out the spirit. Like, you ever have a man tell you, man, you got to listen to your body sometimes. You got to listen when your body talking to you.
That shit's out the spirit.
Brother, come on, bro. The Most High made doctors for medicine. And if that's the case, go to the doctor. But don't just have somebody feed you with weakness to get you to diminish your production. Or to take away a notable miracle that was done right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
You see the Lord's working with you. And then somebody comes and humanizes the experience to say, man, that was just a matter of fatigue.
Yep.
That was just a matter of dehydration. You just need to get your rest, brother. Get your rest. Because you got some rest, read on.
And that upon his resting a while, it returned to its former nature again.
Hey, bro, all you needed was some sleep.
That's all it was.
That's all you was missing.
Yep.
Didn't it say Christ warned his disciples? He said when they told Christ, I'll follow you wherever you go, he said, listen, man, foxes have holes, birds have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. How was he preparing them disciples?
Me up.
Your sleep is not priority.
That's not the priority. Yeah.
Let's just get it out the way. The manner of your sleep,
Yeah.
how you sleep, how long you sleep, the quality of your sleep,
Yeah.
all these things are not priority.
Christ checked them because they were sleeping. He said, I just wanted you to watch. He said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Yeah.
Y'all couldn't just stay up for an hour?
You couldn't stay up and pray? I just asked you to watch and pray.
Sleep is not the priority.
Is sleep so it was sleep the priority.
Nope.
But Christ is preparing his disciples with that mentality. But here, this false prophet is telling them, you got to listen to your body. Your body was just telling you that you just needed some rest.
Yep.
Don't look at the miracles that the Most High is doing. Look at the fact that was just the fact that it was fatigue. It wasn't the Lord. It was fatigue.
Yeah.
Read.
It says, and that upon his resting a while, it returned to his former nature again.
See? Read on.
And that as to the altar, it was but new.
See, this sinful man had an excuse and a reason why to devalue the Most High's involvement in what's going on in the truth.
The cement didn't rest long enough. So
Yeah.
all that weight that was on it, that's what cracked the altar. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
It wasn't cured.
compacted.
It wasn't cured all the way.
It wasn't cured all the way. That's what happened, man.
It wasn't cured. You threw all these heavy animals on it, and it fell under the weight of it.
Yep.
It collapsed under the weight of all these sacrifices. Wasn't the Lord though.
Yeah.
It wasn't the prophet. It was the strain of the sacrifice of the animals you put on it. You put the best animals on it. That's why.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go ahead.
And had borne abundance of sacrifice.
See, all the lamb legs, all the hinds and the back strap and the quarters,
Yep.
all that on the oxen, all man, it was just the weight.
Couldn't handle that.
They couldn't handle the weight, man.
It's physics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's science, bro.
It's science.
Read.
And those large ones too.
And it was big ones you put on. You put them big boys on there. You put them.
You know it's too big for that.
What the brother say? Les Barbecue. He said, "You know I got them softballs.
Oh yeah.
You know the brother that cooked them oxtails.
Yeah.
Nothing but them softballs.
Yeah.
All meat, candy red.
Candy red.
We gonna paint it red. We gonna paint candy red paint today. Plenty of meat. Look at how it look. Is they juicy? That's his little slang. Is they juicy? But this is what he's saying. It's the quality of the meat you put on and the big sizes you put on. It ain't got nothing to do with the Lord. See how people take away the miracles that's seen in front of you from the work. When you get in the truth, you will see some miracles.
Yes.
By shadow of a doubt. There's no doubt that the Most High gonna reveal many miracles to you when you're in this truth. But the wrong spirit will try to take that miracle that was notable that you should have kept in your pocket to add to your faith to say that wasn't the Lord.
Yep.
That can happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
It was improper weight distribution.
Yeah. It was leverage. It was leverage. You put all the meat on one side. Come on, bro. Always got an alternative point of view. You can't listen to when it comes to the truth, there is no alternative point of view.
Okay.
I know why I'm here and I know what I'm doing here. I'm here for the Most High Christ. I'm here for my people. And if that means that I got to suffer a little bit, okay, so be it. But some people will try to rationalize and equate what you're going through to make it some human experience and take the Most High right out the picture. Read?
And that as to the altar, it was but new and had borne abundance of sacrifices, and those large ones too. and was accordingly broken to pieces and fallen down by the weight of what had been laid upon him. He also informed him of the death of him that had foretold those things, and how he perished, whence he concluded that he had not anything in him of a prophet.
As he said, the only reason he died,
Wow.
he said, because he didn't have anything in him that qualified him to be a what?
A prophet.
So he wasn't qualified to be a prophet. That's it says. So there was no reason for you to trust that brother
Exactly.
because he wasn't qualified to be a prophet. There was nothing in him that sounds like a prophet. Go to Psalms, chapter 78.
So,
Yes, sir.
so does that mean false prophets will also, I guess, talk down on another man's work?
Absolutely. All of it is to root out something.
What verse you want to me?
We want Psalm 78. Start at verse Start at verse 10.
Come. Psalms chapter 78 and verse 10. They kept not the covenant of the Most High, and refused to walk in his law.
What happens with men over time? They forget to keep what?
Covenant.
Why do men and women discontinue to keep covenant and walking in the Most High statutes?
They refuse to walk in his
No,
law.
but we read it earlier. They're unfaithful. They lose their zeal, and they're disobedient. So they stop wanting to follow. And what happens when you stop wanting to follow? What happens? Read on.
Verse 11. And forget his work.
And you start to forget what?
His work.
So you forget that it was the Most High.
Yep.
You can never forget the things that, especially the miracles, that you witness with your own eyes that the Most High has done in front of you. You can never forget that. The Most High opened up doors that you know were supposed to be closed. Guaranteed. The Most High opened up situations and opportunities that should have never presented itself, but it was available to you. The Most High show you things that doesn't measure up according to the world's standards of what's possible. But you can't forget that, and neither can you let somebody tell you to forget that. Neither can you let somebody remove the things that you've seen the Most High do in front of you in your servitude to the Most High in Christ. He said they forgot his works, and what else?
They forgot his works and his wonders.
And his what?
And his wonders.
What are his wonders?
Miracles.
His miracles. The Most High produces signs and wonders so that you can use it for confirmation that he's involved. That it was him. And you have to be mindful of it. If you forget the Most High's miracles, you're going to tell yourself it was man-made. The truth was fabricated by man. If you forget the miracles you see, you'll say, man, it was just a hogwash. It was a cult. If you forget the miracles. Read.
And forgot his works and his wonders that he had shown them.
Because the Most High was the one freezing up Jeroboam's hand. But here comes somebody saying that wasn't the Most High. Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness.
Go ahead.
And they tempted the Most High in their heart by asking meat for their lust.
He said they started asking meat for what?
Their lust.
So what do I do when I stop seeing the Most High being involved in everything done in my life that was a notable miracle? I start doing things pertaining to what?
Lust.
My lust. My lust kicks in now. See, if I forget the Most High's involvement, then all that does is resurrect my flesh. Because it's not about the Most High anymore. See, that fake prophet, his job was to remove all the things that Jeroboam saw in the Lord, so he could go back to feeding his flesh. That's how you become a servant to the flesh all over again. Somebody just wipes your memory clean of all the good things that the Most High has done for you. You let somebody put the reset button in your mind and say that wasn't the Lord. Now, life is now about chasing pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, life is, the Most High's out of the picture now. So now my pursuits are only the flesh. Once the Most High's gone out of my conscience, it's all about the flesh now. And you got men that will have the truth and only be about the flesh because the Most High is no longer in their conscience. That's dangerous. Now I'm provoking the Most High to more anger. Because he didn't show me something so that I could be mindful that it's him. And all I did was remove that and be about my flesh. Read on.
Verse 19. Yeah, they spake against the Most High.
And now I'm about my flesh and I start saying what? Man, that wasn't the Lord. The Lord didn't want me to do that. Man wanted me to do that. That was men trying to control me. It's not. That's the objective of these fake prophets. But if I don't lose my fear, if I keep my fear of the Lord, I'm not subject to these thoughts. Read on.
They said, "Can God furnish a table in the wilderness?"
Now I start to doubt the truth.
That's crazy. Yeah. With rationality.
With rationality. Man, how the hell the Lord going to make a table of food and a spread and a buffet out here in these woods? It ain't nothing out here in this desert.
Yeah.
They called it a wilderness for a reason.
Yeah.
It was nothing but extremely high, mountainous, jagged cliffs. A lot of the direction that they had to go. Uncomfortable. Hot. No water. The water they did have was bitter. And they ran out of the provisions that they brought out of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So they was working on a slim budget. They said, can the Lord furnish a table? You just walked through a wall of water.
Yeah.
And you have, which was a miracle. And you're already saying, can the Most High put a plate of food out here in the woods? The enemy's objective is to root out all the good that you've seen in the truth. And to make you forget it. Now you're a flesh baby. Now the only thing you pursue is what satisfies your flesh. Now you're a slave to the flesh. And you starting to doubt what the Most High's capability is. Can the Lord make a table in the woods? What else?
Verse 20. Behold, he smote the rock, that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also?
You just sip cold water, fresh water out of a stone flint rock, out of the flinty rock. Water gushed out of a hard rock. And you drank it. And still have the notion or the idea, can the Most High do what?
Can he give bread also?
Yeah, the Most High gave me water. But he didn't give me no bread though. I don't think, I drank the water. But I thought that was an accident. You know how I look at that? That was just an underground spring.
Yep.
That wasn't the Lord. That water was going to come out anyway. We just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and that water was going to come out anyway. It was perfect timing.
Yeah.
To an unbelieving mind, that was perfect timing. But to a mind conscious of the Most High, man, the Most High opened that rock up to where he gave us water. We was thirsty. And the kids were thirsty. Yeah. And the animals were thirsty.
Yeah.
Everybody drank from that water. But can he give me bread, though? See if he can pull the rabbit out of his hat on this one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to test him again.
I doubt he can do that. Come on, bro. Are you serious? Read on.
Can he provide flesh for his people?
Come on, man. What kind of question is that?
Bro.
What else can he do?
What else can he do for me?
Yeah, exactly.
What type of ridicule is that coming from? That comes from an unbelieving mind. That's somebody that's no longer conscious of the Most High's presence. That has become unmindful of his miracles. Who's losing their zeal. An acknowledgement that the Most High is here. And he's upon us and he's working with us. Read on.
Therefore the Lord heard this, and was wroth.
It said the Lord hear all the ridicule, all the smart remarks, all the doubt that we possess, all the slander. The Most High hear it all. And it angers the Lord. Read on.
So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel. But they believed not in the Most High.
And what was the problem?
They believed not in the Most High.
What was the whole purpose of the training in the wilderness?
To learn to believe.
To learn to believe. A lot of the events that are uncomfortable in the truth are to get you to learn to believe and trust the Lord. The short finances, the basic food, not having the extras, not having nothing saved up, just got enough to get through the day. Didn't manna last 48 hours?
Nope.
No, sir.
Could manna be used as leftovers?
No, sir.
Manna was to provide you a meal for that day, for the purpose of letting you know that the Most High feeds you daily. That's why Christ said in our prayer, we ask the Most High for our daily bread.
Yep.
Because the Most High feeds us daily. We get mad because we don't got enough to make it through the week. Well, you weren't supposed to make it through the week. You were supposed to stay tethered to the Lord and be thankful that He fed you day to day. The Most High is there with me every single day. But what we do?
Because they believed not in the Most High and trusted not in His salvation.
And they didn't trust in His what?
Salvation.
And His saving power. A lot of us don't believe in the Most High's saving power. So we stress out. So we stress out and we start tripping in the head. We start doubting and we become full of worry and we forget of all the miracles the Most High provided. Did we forget how during COVID how good we ate?
Yeah.
When the shelves were bare? Did we forget during the freeze when they only let 8 people in Walmart at a time because they didn't have enough workers that showed up to work because the roads were too frozen? So they only let a certain amount of proportion people come into Walmart based upon the workers that they had in the store. The proportion had to be right. I remember going to Walmart waiting in line. It was 10 degrees.
Yep. I was about to say, you waiting.
With snow on the ground, which is unfamiliar in central South Texas. And they had to do 8 people at a time, and you had to wait until somebody come out. And then even when you did go in, you were limited on what you can purchase. You could only get 2 of whatever you buy. Because distribution had to be made for everybody else in line. Did we forget how we ate good? Even in a crisis? But we be tripping though. We forget the Most High on a regular basis. And that angers the Most High. Because our doubt challenges His existence. And that's what He get angry with. Read.
Come. Says, therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in the Most High, and trusted not in His salvation, though He had commanded the clouds from above.
He says, though the Most High was controlling the weather. Read on.
And opened the doors of heaven.
And the Most High been opening the doors of heaven. We don't even see the Most High's involvement with the weather patterns. That the weather is even in our favor. Even in a crisis moment. Even in a freeze where nothing was moving. Water pipes froze up and locked up. Electricity power lines went out across the city. And we were laughing and joking with each other. In company with each other. In harmony with each other. I remember being in the freeze in Atlanta. We drove to Atlanta and we got there 4 hours before one of the worst recorded snowfalls of Atlanta completely brought Atlanta to a standstill. A city of 4 to 5 million people. We got there 4 to 5 hours before the snowfall came that completely shut down the entire city of Atlanta. It looked like Armageddon. People couldn't move because they weren't the snow trucks didn't have time to put the de-icing equipment on the road. People, Atlanta got like 8 lanes, 10 lanes of traffic. All lanes were full. All cars came to a stop. People that ran out of gas had to be on foot. And you know how spread out Atlanta is. They was on foot. Kids were stuck at school. Old people were stuck on the road in the car. People had to pee on themselves in the car. People had to sleep in the car. All cars ran out of gas. We got to the mall, and we found Dalia's car finally ran out of gas at the mall. But we was already at the mall. What do you call that, man?
Miracle. Most High thing.
If that ain't the Most High, well, we're driving past people that are on foot on the highway. They weren't prepared for the weather. And we made it to our destination, and then Dalia parked the car and left it on the side of the street because we ran out of gas, and we were walking distance to the mall. The car stopped right across the street. Then brothers got stuck on the other side of Atlanta, and then brothers were able to navigate somehow and pick those brothers up on a standstill. And one brother was asleep in the car with blankets because he ran out of gas. Or actually his heater didn't work. He was bundled up with clothes that he had in the car. Brought the brother all the way back. I got to Atlanta. A brother had his kids. They were stuck at school. Kids were stuck on the school bus. Nothing was moving in Atlanta. They was without food. Chick-fil-A gave away free sandwiches in Atlanta because there was no food. Chick-fil-A started giving out free sandwiches. Everybody made it home safe. No kids was left at school. No brothers was left out at work. In a city of 5 million people. What do you call that?
Miracle.
That's a miracle, man. But some of those men that experienced that aren't even in the truth. That's what's crazy about that. Some of those men that went through that and watched the Most High come through out of nowhere, where all brothers and sisters was in safety, aren't even in the truth today. Because they forget. They forget the miracles. And somehow they diminish the works of the Lord, and they calculate it being some freak accident. It's a work of Mother Nature. They don't see the Lord. While the Most High is the one shutting down the damn city. He's the one controlling the weather. Read on.
Verse 23. Though he commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven and rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full.
And when the Most High dropped the meat from heaven, that quail that came from heaven, he said they ate to the full. How could you not be convinced that the Most High is present and alive and exists amongst you, and you eating to the full on a regular basis? And you don't think that's the Lord? You can't quantify that as being the Lord? But you eating to the full? When famine is controlled by the Lord? Back to Josephus. We almost finished. Book 8, chapter 9. We're in line 245.
Antiquity of the Jews, book 8, chapter 9. Line 245. It says, when he had thus spoken, he persuaded the king.
It says when the false prophet went and added all these man-made fake details to the situation and ruined the Most High's presence being available to the king. He did what?
He persuaded the king.
To what?
And entirely.
He did what?
Entirely.
Through that fake prophet's speeches. He did what?
Entirely alienated his mind from the Most High.
So a fake prophet will entirely alienate your mind from who?
From the Most High.
What is a false prophet's objective?
alienate his mind from the Most High.
It's to get the idea that the Most High is with you out of your mind. Through negative speeches, through subversive tactics, through slander, through destroying the perception, altering the perception that the Most High was there. All these things are tactics that you got to watch out for when the wrong spirit, either by your own mind or by way of anybody else. That's why Paul said, though we or an angel preach another gospel, let that man be accursed. Don't let anybody take away what you've seen in the truth as not being the Most High's involvement. Don't ever let nobody tell you the Most High didn't help you in situations that you should have been destroyed. Or the Most High didn't come through for you at times when you didn't have nothing. Because when you start forgetting the works of the Lord, that's when your zeal starts to diminish. And it's only a matter of time before the deceiver, your goose is cooked. You're ready to be played on. Because you didn't really believe anyway. Because it's not in you anyway. That's why you got to stay conscious of the Most High at all times. Daily. Read on.
And entirely alienated his mind from the Most High and from doing works that were righteous and holy.
It said he stopped doing works that was what?
Righteous and holy.
Go ahead.
And encouraged him to go on in his impious practices.
Go ahead.
And accordingly, he was to that degree injurious to the Most High.
Now I become an enemy to the Most High because I don't see the Most High nowhere. I don't see the Most High in anything. So now I'm an enemy to the Most High at this point. Read on.
And so great a transgressor.
And I become a what?
A great transgressor.
I become a great transgressor. Read on.
That he sought for nothing else every day, but how he might be guilty of some instances of wickedness.
New instances.
New instances of wickedness. And such as should be more detestable than what he had been so insolent as to do before.
If his insolence wasn't bad enough, the next day he went on and tried to double up and go above and beyond his level of wickedness. He tried to top himself in wickedness on a daily basis. Why would a person do that? Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 5 in the Apocrypha. Why would a person try to outdo the wickedness that they did the day before? Why would somebody do that?
Ecclesiastes 5 and 5 in the Apocrypha.
Yes, sir.
That's page 73. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 5. Concerning propitiation.
Propitiation means the works that's necessary to get back right with the Lord. So concerning doing the works that are necessary to get back right with the Most High. Read on.
Be not without fear.
What would make a man go harder the next day than he did before in wickedness? Say it again, sis. It's the objective. Satan's objective is to remove the fear of the Lord from us. Mm-hmm. And if Satan can remove the fear of the Lord from us, we'll outdo ourselves in negativity every day. I got to go harder in negative than I did the day before. I got to top what I did yesterday. He's going to prove it. Read on.
God, be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
So now I just stack sin on top of sin. I'm doubling up. I'm tripling up. I'm quadrupling up in sin.
Yep.
Because all that Satan's objective is to get you to take away the fear of the Lord. Once the fear of the Lord is removed from you, anything is happening. You will do anything. You will be a no-limit soldier for Satan.
That's crazy.
You will be without limits for Satan. You will taste whatever wickedness. You will perform whatever wickedness. You will indulge in whatever wickedness. You'll satisfy yourself in whatever wickedness. There's no limit at that point.
Yeah.
All his objective is to do is to remove the fear. Yes, sir.
You start to lose that consideration of the Most High
There's no consideration of the Most High.
at all.
Because there's no consciousness of the Most High. That's why it says that false prophet's objective was to fully alienate Jeroboam's mind from the Lord. Once his mind is alienated, him and the Most High are not compatible.
Yep.
The Most High ain't working with him no more. Last verse, 1 Kings 13 and 33.
Right. 1 Kings chapter 13 and verse 33. It says, after this thing, Jeroboam returned not from his evil ways.
Jeroboam didn't do what?
Return not from his evil ways.
So the initial prophet Jadon was sent to Jeroboam to return from his wickedness, to get him to repent.
Right.
A false prophet came, deceived Jadon, and then removed the fear of the Lord from Jeroboam so that he didn't return or repent. Read on.
But made again of the lowest of the people's priests of the high places, whosoever would, he consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places. And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and to destroy it from off the face of the earth.
So now the Most High is done showing any more mercy to this man, because now he's stacking sin on top of sin.
Okay.
Now this man is just throwing away his grace.
He's reprobate.
He's a reprobate mind. So there's no fear of the Lord at all in this individual. Mission accomplished. But what are we actually seeing? I have one more verse. Romans chapter 1. When we read this chapter and we take apart all the meat that's in these verses, what are we watching? Romans chapter 1. Read verse 18.
Romans chapter 1, and verse 18.
Yes, sir.
Says, for the wrath of the Most High is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness.
It says the Most High will reveal his wrath from heaven and come down on all ungodliness. Read.
Against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men.
It says of all men that's ungodly, they don't have God in their mind, and they unrighteous. Read on.
Who hold the truth in unrighteousness.
It says they hold the truth in what?
In unrighteousness.
How do we hold the truth in unrighteousness?
By not having fear of the Most High.
By not having fear of the Lord and being alienated in consciousness that the Most High is with me and he's controlling everything. So I may have the truth, just like that prophet Jadon was a man of God, but he was still subject to deception. That can happen to anybody that's got the truth, but they're holding the truth in unrighteousness, meaning they're not able to witness the Most High involved. They can't see the Most High's presence in the truth. They think it's man-made. They think it's the Most High. The Most High ain't doing it. Man is making decisions. Yes, sir.
I had somebody tell me once, I don't even know the power that you serve. I don't even know him. I don't know what you serve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They seen multiple miracles on how the Most High protected and saved them and their family. And they got to say, and the only thing that they said was, I don't even know or recognize the power that you serve.
That's dangerous. Because all they're asking for is the Most High's wrath to come down on them.
Yep.
Anybody could hold the truth in unrighteousness. All you got to do is get the truth and be disobedient and act like the Most High is not there.
Mm-hmm.
And bypass all the signs and the wonders and the miracles he showed you. And invalidate them as being just mysticism.
Can't imagine getting that far astray to where you're no longer conscious of, hey, if I do X, Y, and Z, there's negative results following this.
Yeah, bro. That's somebody that's far gone.
Bro,
Too far gone.
that is scary.
Read on.
Verse 19. Because that which was made known of the Most High.
Hey, hold on. Did the Most High show him something?
God.
Did the Most High show him a sign?
God.
Did the Most High show him a wonder? Did the Most High do a miracle? Was it evident at some point in time that the Most High was orchestrating their life? Read.
Because that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them.
It was shown to them. The truth was shown to them. The Most High's existence was revealed to them. Read on.
For the Most High has showed it unto them.
Bingo. Read on.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
I should at least seen how the Most High made the sun come out for me in the morning.
Yeah.
I should at least seen how the Most High made it rain or covered my water bill when I didn't have no water. I should have been able to see when somebody looked out for me when I was really stranded. And people was taking care of the things that I couldn't control. But I should have at least seen creation and watched the Most High work through the creation to be of assistance to me. And to provide me the things that I need in life. I should at least be able to look around me and see the Most High and the things created. At least. That's a minimum. Read on.
Says being understood by the things that are made.
It said we should at least see the Most High, at least knowing that the Most High is there because he feeds the birds. He feeds the whales. He feeds the snakes. He feeds the lizards. He takes care of every operation on the earth. He's controlling all of it. Something should have said, the Lord is here. Read on.
Even his eternal power and Godhead.
Go ahead. And Christ was revealed to us. Read.
So that they are without excuse.
So that when the Most High does drop the hammer on you, you don't have any what?
Excuses.
You don't have any excuses.
I didn't know.
You can never say, I didn't know the Lord wanted me to do X, Y, and Z. You can never say the Lord didn't tell me.
Yep.
You can never say the Lord wasn't trying to work with me. You can never say the Lord wasn't involved in my life. You can't never say the Most High wasn't trying to help me. You can't deny the Most High. Because that's what the excuse is going to be. I didn't know that was you, Lord. I didn't know you was behind everything. I thought there was just somebody, I thought man was just trying to tell me what to do. I thought this operation was man-made. I thought the truth was man-made. He said, but they're going to be without what?
Without excuse.
They're going to be without excuse. Ain't going to be no excuses. Because there's too many signs. And it's too many wonders. And it's too many miracles that the Most High be showing us to alienate our minds and our consciousness from the Father. Like Jeroboam. We didn't seen too much to deny the Most High. Or to become unbelieving. That's why it provokes the Most High's wrath. So with that, we're going to say shalom. That was the second half of what we started last Wednesday. So if you missed the first part, check it out from last Wednesday. And so it kind of make more sense of why we went this direction. Then it'll if you watch the first part, it'll make more sense why if you started on just the second part, it'll make more sense why we went here. But hopefully it made sense and the understanding was clear. But ultimately, when you read that story about Jeroboam, you're watching a false prophet deceive a man, a real prophet, who was still vulnerable to lust, and for the purpose of removing the fear of the Lord out of the king's heart. And the Most High was controlling all of it. Both aspects, all aspects was controlled by the Lord. Everything's controlled by the Most High. So hopefully we was able to get a lot of understanding out of that and to see where what side we need to be on and how not to fall victim either by like the false prophet or the real prophet or Jeroboam. We got to know what the Most High is doing, how He's trying to work in our lives. We got to recognize that He's trying to make things happen for us in our favor. He's in our favor. And you can't grow stubborn. You can't grow faithless. You can't grow where you're rebellious and you become disobedient. You can't allow your mind and your thoughts to think that the Most High doesn't want you to stay on a straight and narrow path and giving you freedom to satisfy your flesh. Because then here comes the deceiver at that point. Because the deceiver is always ready and available to accomplish and remove those that are losing their zeal for the Lord. That's why Christ said, be ye hot or cold. He said, don't be lukewarm. He said, if you lukewarm, I'm going to spew you out of my mouth. I'm going to still reject you. Christ said he's still going to reject us if we lukewarm. That's why you got to be hot. In His truth, you have to maintain your fervency. You have to. You have to maintain your zeal in the truth. You have to. You can't be lukewarm in the truth. And with that, we're going to say shalom. We'll see y'all on Friday. The water for watching online. The water for everybody coming in class.
Shalom.
All right? Shalom.